Grand rising, grand biscuits, magic wand waving grand wizards. If you my man, 100 grand and a grand missing. I got 99 problems, what's the damn difference? Listen, on my unborn grandkids, you know a nigga grown when a band is a bandage and the band keeps playing when you on a Titanic and your home network can't handle the bandwidth life's a damn bitch. Still love her though. Raw sex pulling off the rubber slow. Rubber dub, that's a dry rub on the roast. Smells like burnt toast, you know I got a serious stroke. Periods broke like the levees. Flow on the mic kinda heavy. Got enough sauce for the spaghetti. Red hot chili pepper, order water under the bridge. I forgive niggas for wanting to live. I ain't mad at ya, I ain't the mad rapper, just a mad dapper damn rather. Shimmy shimmy y'all like a kappa. Somebody tell Boozy that I'm batter. Vanilla extract in a batter. I ain't playing patty cake. I mean, how many patty pies can daddy bake? Mad I gotta save a slice for Sally Mae. May the odds ever be forever in your favor. Forever and a whole day later. Day to day, day traders. Daylight come for slave labor. Labor Day, labor pains getting paid straight up. Grand Rising, Grand Canyon, grandfather clock, grandstanding. You lucky if you got grandparents. Shit is Operation Grand Clearance. It's clandestine. Magazine Glam Essence. 120 plan lessons from the ancestors. Fan blessings, hand-in-hand hand gestures, jam sessions, children asking damn questions, watching cartoons and wrestling. Grand Rising, Grand Central, Freemasons at the Grand Temple. All praises to the audacious, all-seeing eye, all patient. Call waiting for the hookup, cook up salt fish, just crooked how to pour, get rewarded with more risk. Fried dumpling, daily bread, top of the morning, getting daily head. Taking diabetic daily meds, sugar-free jelly spread. Crown Jewel got a heavy head. You got a headache from the Reggie Reg. Grand Rise, 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 Grand Rise.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is JahLogic, also known as Mr. M, and you're watching The Morning Rant. And with me, I have my two co-hosts for the day, aka so far, because we might have some more trickling in as the show goes on. Mimi F Baby and Schoolboy. What's going on with you? What's going on to my good panel this morning? How's everybody doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
All is well. Can't complain. I'm up.
Good morning.
How you doing, Schoolboy? You feeling all right, man?
Man, I was been sick for the last few days, and shit took me out last night. I'm here.
Uh-oh. We're gonna see some prayers up for you, my nigga.
Appreciate that.
All right, you already know. All right, so we got a comment from Just One Love. She says, good morning to see you.
Good morning, Faith.
I said, good morning to see you. You know I'm fucking tired. I said, it's always good to see you. That's what I meant to say.
Yo, let me ask a question. Is that a Groove Fi shirt?
Just One Love. I think that question is for Just One Love.
Yeah. Is that a Groove Fi?
I don't know
what you see too, Mia?
I don't know what that is.
Is that what you see too, Mia?
No, I see Fabulous Wife, and it looks like 19 maybe. But I just literally just looked at it to answer your question.
All right, so just one love. That question was for you. You can answer, Scoop, but if you will, I don't know if you're on your way to work or not. Also, hit me up behind the scenes. Let me know how the business is going. Hope all is well with the launch of your new business. And she said, no, it was my birthday shirt. All right, that's what's up. So, with that being said, good morning from the Morning Rant. Like I said, we have some other co-hosts pulling in. Thank you for Schoolboy for showing up, even though he's quite under the weather. Steph is not at 100 himself. I'm not sure if he might pull up or not, but I have a special co-host for the day, a good friend of mine, poet, activist, actress, advocate, Mika J. Woods. How you doing, babe?
Hey, y'all. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. This is Mia. Mia, this is Mika.
Hi, Mia.
Hi.
And I know Schoolboy because I watched the show.
Hey,
Hey, good to see you.
and if you watch I Rant Network faithfully, you would know who Mika is yourself. She did the poetry show, The Hungry Poets,
Yes.
performing arts show that we had on the network that I hope will be coming back sooner than later.
Yes.
But Mika, I hate to bust your chops so early in the morning, but you should remember the rules. I know it's been a minute, but we don't do portrait mode. We don't do portrait mode. Thank you. Thank you.
There
So
you go.
I see you got the Black Power attire on this
It's
morning.
Black
she looked
History
like
Month. I felt like I had to show up and show right, you know?
You doing? Yeah,
she
yeah.
looks like she stayed moisturized and shea butter. Like I see that skin is not cracking, honey. I love it.
Honey. And just woke up, too. So I feel really good. Thank you. Thank you. I
Woke
feel
up
good
like
about
this.
that.
I'm fucking with it. I love it.
Thank you again, Mika. I really appreciate you pulling up in the
No
club.
problem.
My girl, my girl. Kelso comes in the chat and says, "Top of the morning, good people. Get well soon, Steph." Salute to you,
Sup,
Kate.
Kels?
Yeah, Black Power, Kelso. Also, he said, I'm pissed. I missed yesterday's show. I had smoke for the ladies. Respect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
What happened yesterday?
Oh, yesterday kind of went down. It went
But
down.
yeah, it turned up. I wish that you were here so we can word spar. I look forward to your comments.
Hey,
Kelso.
but not for nothing. I definitely made sure it was more than one female on the panel. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want it to be like a guys getting on ranting on girls type of thing, or we didn't want to do that battle of the sexes type bullshit. But Kelso, I feel you, brother. It was lit yesterday.
Kelso keeps us sharp. Well, he keeps me sharp, so I like seeing him around.
And Kelso also says shea butter shorty.
Oh, thank you. All right.
That might have to be a little alias to yours. That might have to be a little
I like it. He made me dance already. It's like, it ain't even 8 and I'm dancing. This is a good day.
shea butter shorty. I like that. All right, with that being said, we're gonna go to Mimi, aka Mimi F Baby. We're gonna start off the show with some information, some motivational quotes, with health and wealth tips. That's her segment. So let me go ahead and set that up. Are you ready, Mimi? I'm about to put your intro on. You ready to take it from here?
Of course.
All right, let's do it.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready.
Your mic is on Teddy Rock. There you go.
That is so cute. So I sent Jah backstory. This is some other information. It had nothing to do with it. I sent him just a cute video, and I was like, I'll make an edit later. But that just warmed my heart. So thank you for that. Today in information, it's real simple. I have two. Be where you are. Wherever you are today, be there and celebrate. I know we're still like at the top of the year, so you may be looking in the mirror like, I want to lose this weight. I want to do this. I want to get in shape, blah, blah, blah. No, be where you are and know that you can continue to get better, but celebrate where you are as is. If you want a new job or you're looking for a new career, you're trying to figure out what gets you going with in terms of like work and career, there's going to be time for that, but just be where you are, because where you are now more than likely were things that you were praying for and manifesting back in the day, and we're always like, what's next, what's on to the next, but all about be where you are. And the second thing that I want to encourage you guys is it's a oldie but goodie. Eat your damn fruits and vegetables. When's no brown plate, shouty? In 2021. If your plate ain't got no color, go back to the kitchen and put some in there. So being where you are can also mean just like using what you got, starting where you are. Open that can of green beans. Eat that apple. Apple that keeps the doctor away. So be where you are and eat them fruits and vegetables. That's it for information.
And that was Mia with the information for the day. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And we got a few more comments. Hold in. Go ahead, Mika, go ahead.
I like that comment. If you ain't got no color on your plate, go back and try again. I like that. Start using that. Like, if you ain't got no color on the plate. Yes, I like that one. Okay.
Thank you.
You know, I'm the hungry poet. I'm always about the food.
That's right. That's right. No brown plates, just brown people and brown liquor.
So with that being said, Virginia Slim says
brown places, brown people, brown liquor. I love it.
Virginia Slim says peace and good morning. Peace to you, good brother. Always good to see the homie on the check-in. Lord Vel, salute to you, G. Says, I'm late, but good morning, people. Salute to you, Lord Vel. You already know that's the homie. And see, I think, okay, here we go. Kelso says, words of wisdom. So that was for Mimi. And really quick, just to talk about yesterday, really, before we move on, because that was the subject of conversation. Briefly, Mika, you did miss a topic about is it liberating for the Black woman to be able to use her sexuality, basically. You know what I mean? I'm kind of paraphrasing, but the title was Are Black Women Over-Sexualized and or misjudged? So, you know, it's quite common for women to feel liberated by, you know, taking control of their own sexuality, but at the same time, aren't they falling into the same stereotypes that they put on us when they over-sexualized us? Is kind of the, you know, the crux of it all, you know. And Sarah Bartman was mentioned in yesterday's episode as well. If you have anything to say about that, because I know you were vocal.
I just wrote about her yesterday.
You just wrote about her on Facebook. So if there's anything you want to say on that, feel free to say it now.
Yes. So, all right, honey, I do believe that at a young age, Black women are over-sexualized, and it doesn't give us the chance to develop our sense of sexuality, because as children, if you wear short shorts, they sexualize you. If you do a certain dance, they sexualize you. But our counterparts in the white community or in the Hispanic community can do just that, and it's still considered just being a child. But if you're Black and you shake a little bit too much, it's you now are sexualized, and that kind of hinders you as an adult, because you try so hard to stay away from stereotypes that they are sexualizing, that as an adult you now have to it's like you have to redevelop what it is, what sexuality is to you. You have to understand that it's okay to be sexual, but you still don't want to fall into the stereotypes of the ghetto girl or the video vixen or the one who's the promiscuous girl. But you should be given the lane to develop what sexuality means to you. Right. That's how I feel. Like, you, as a Black woman, you have to everybody else is given the lane. Everybody else is allowed to develop who they are sexually. So why aren't Black women? Sarah Bartman, is it okay to talk about her? Because yesterday I said, are we still ignoring the fact that 5 years ago she was considered an exhibit, and now white women are getting their bodies done to look just like her.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not too late to talk about her. It's never too late to talk about her. Laura Vell says, I like the lady with the head wrap. That is Mika J. Woods. You might remember her from her show on the network, Hungry Poets. And you know what? We had a show. One of the
Thank
episodes
you.
was called, matter of fact, your birthday episode was called The Freak Show. And we had a lot of erotic poetry.
Yes.
Yeah, that was super dope.
Yes.
With that being said, I do want to in the spirit of you know, a update. You know, I'm not gonna say I had a change of heart or anything like that, but I did see a clip that was liberating with a woman shaking her ass. I felt she was liberating herself in this particular clip. And that's because she was handicapped. But she didn't let that stop her.
Watch this nigga Logic backpedaling. Let's see this. No, no, it's too early in the morning for this, man.
It's too early. Come on, you trying to send me to hell? Because if I laugh, I'm wrong.
Let me shut the mics off. Let me shut y'all mics off so they don't go to hell. All right. And she's dancing to Cardi B WAP. All right. So y'all know we can't play that. So I'm gonna have to maybe like voice over the song or something. So let me just go ahead. All right. So y'all know how the song go from the top to the. That's some cat. That's some cripple ass pussy. Cat. That's some cripple ass pussy. I'm talking. All right, that's my rendition of WAP, cat, cripple ass pussy. But she was liberated, was she not? Was she not liberated? Was she not?
This man timed from the top to the bottom as she sat her crippled ass in that chair.
Talking cat.
No.
No, it's just do you. It's liberating.
I agree with you, Redemption.
Pussy.
Redemption said I'm wrong.
Yes.
I could have been wronger. I definitely could have been wronger. I could have said no. That's on grip. I could have, I could have.
No, sir.
Wait, I don't think there was anything wrong with her voice. It was just the legs, Wait, but the way that the twerk was from like the midsection. It was just a midsection twerk. It it was a body twerk. Oh my god.
She's moving her butt. If y'all let this beautiful queen live.
She's not.
Yeah, her butt is moving right there when she's
because her midsection is moving. Because her midsection is moving. She's not actually moving her butt, or she wouldn't be in that wheelchair. All right.
Y'all don't let this beautiful queen live.
Salute her. I do think it was liberating for her to still be
her best life.
Yeah, and crippled people can take jokes too.
Yeah, I just hope she changed her pamper before she did all of that, because that could be bad.
I should have blew his.
Turn off. I'm leaving.
He was.
Sorry about that.
Let me shut his mic off. He was too quick for me, y'all. I should have blew his screen up. Kelso says crippled cookies matter. Redemption says it's the leg spread for me. That was Black Girl Joy right there.
I fully agree with Redemption though. It was the yeah.
Hey.
I feel like she had to pre-pose, like somebody helped her.
She had to roll over too.
Somebody helped her get into some of them positions.
Sleazy Aki, my nigga.
What are you yelling at? I need to know.
He's laughing.
Or maybe I don't need to know.
He's laughing. Kelso says she gonna get her disability check snatched if the state see this. Oh shit. Oh man, they gonna be like, you said you can't work, bitch. You can strip. Fuck out of here. Give me my check. All right. Redemption says the herpes goddess, and now this fuckery is too early. This is what you come here for, ma'am. This is what you come here for.
What is the herpes goddess?
She be making points though.
Y'all don't remember?
She be making points.
Okay, so maybe I don't know if Schoolboy was there for that episode. I feel like he was, but we do so many episodes. Sometimes some of these things may he may get lost in translation or whatever. Or you may forget him. But there was an episode. That's the one I will not forget, where we showed a video of the herpes goddess, where she was also on some liberating shit and talking about just because she has herpes doesn't mean she's unclean. And you eat meat and you eat dairy, and because you eat all this stuff, you're the one that's dirty, not her for having herpes. That's the herpes goddess. That was the herpes goddess. Salute to the herpes goddess. All right. Virginia Slim says she double disabled, clout chasing, and Gumby legs. Laura Vell says, I wouldn't hit that cripple wop. Laugh. He said, I would hit that cripple wop. Laughing out loud.
She was pretty in the face.
Yeah.
She was pretty in the face. I just feel like it's a little bit more work. Like you got to do everything, you know?
I would be cautious. I would say that much. I'd be cautious.
Luckily,
You don't know.
well, here's a good thing about it. Luckily, if you guys are arguing, you know, you never have to say to her, "Don't walk away from me when I'm talking to you."
Lord Jesus. Now that you got that out, I was gonna say a lot, and I'm not making any jokes. Like a lot of crippled people have upper arm strength, so like in terms of sex, she probably could you could lay down and she can probably ride good. Would be my guess, and that's not a joke.
Well, like I said, you know, that core strength looks to be pretty strong, but them legs probably ain't really doing what they supposed to do.
So, Schoolboy, let's not act like in the past you haven't expressed that you have a bucket list, and there was she count on your bucket list? I think we had an episode where I had some family almost disown me because Schoolboy's bucket list. But if you guys remember, Schoolboy, you want to tell us?
It wasn't a bucket list. What happened was a black woman took her white boyfriend to a BL. Well, he took her to a BLM protest. All right,
a quadruple amputee.
Hold on, yeah. The thing about this black woman was that she didn't have any arms or legs, but she again was cute in the face. And I said, well, hey, she's newly single. I would take her out on a date.
Right. But I feel like it was something in that suggesting that you wanted to check that off the list. So what I'm asking is, like, would that count? Would this one count, or she had to lose her legs first?
No. I mean, with this one, she looks like I'm checking out all the different things. Like this would definitely probably just be like a hit it and quit it. Like I don't think I could rock with her for too long.
You know, take her on a date. Why not? She's pretty.
It's Corona,
She's
man.
Fun.
It's Corona. It's Corona. You know.
So you'll take her out on a date, you'll smash, but you won't wipe the one with the working, half working legs.
Yeah, man. I probably wouldn't wife either one of them. It just seemed like too much work in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying. Like the kids, I'll change their diapers, but I'm not trying to change your diapers too. I'm just being honest on that one.
Redemption says,
after a while, you'd be like the chick in the Tyler Perry movie. You'd be ready to wheel her in the tub, like, shut up.
Man, she just gonna have to blow them bubbles, baby.
Y'all niggas is crazy. Y'all crazy. Redemption says, what happened was, and Virginia Slim says, yo, that quadriplegic episode was classic. It was, sir, and that shit is going on Patreon sooner than later.
I still feel a little bit embarrassed about that shit.
Thank you, Kelso.
Kelso said niggas blaming Corona on a hit and quit it now? Laugh out loud. Yeah, you can't blame Corona on that, sir, man. But, you know, maybe she's too liberated for you, man. Maybe she's too liberated for you.
Yeah, like the first time we out somewhere, her song come up, and she start rolling around and bouncing out that chair. Like, it's over, homie. We can't get past that. We're not going to sit here and act like you ain't bounce your ass out that chair and start doing all of that shit, embarrassing us like that. No.
Quick question, Schoolboy. Why blame Corona on the hit it and quit it? Shouldn't you be in a relationship because of Corona? Shouldn't you be that close? What are you, having sex with a mask on?
Good.
How does that work?
Good point.
No comment.
Nah, that was a good point, though, Mika.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that shit alone.
Mika, good point.
Of all the things you could have left alone, that's the thing you don't want to respond to today. Really?
Listen. I'm actually out here. I'm actually out here in the world. You know what I'm saying? I can't be having nobody look at this shit and be judging me based on it. No, man.
They have plenty to judge you on off of the first 5 minutes of you coming on here today, just for the record. Michelle Carvin ass.
You just said you would hit a quadriplegic and a cripple. I don't.
Like I said before, those women need love too, and if they just, gave it to me, then who am I? I'm out here trying to help the community.
Kelso's trying to help you. He said, bruh, plead the fifth. Plead the fifth.
Kelso, the philanthropist. I love it. Help your brother out.
All right. So let me put this back on the screen. So we're gonna go to the COVID update. There's a few stories that we got to get out the way because you already know the COVID bullshit is still upon us. So we got to go ahead and stay abreast of what's going on in regards to that. So we're gonna go ahead and get this COVID update out the way. You know what I mean? Fuck COVID, fuck Corona. You know what I'm saying? And we surviving. But check it out. It's the COVID update with the Morning Rant. Good morning. This is Mr. M, also known as JahLogic. And of course, you're watching the Morning Rant. This is the COVID update. And today we're talking about U.S. Attorney and the FBI investigating Cuomo's handling of the nursing home deaths. So if you haven't been keeping up, Cuomo has been accused of smudging the numbers when it comes to the toll of the deaths in the nursing home. And with that being said, let me pull up the video and let it speak for itself. There is a video of him being questioned and him answering those questions. Since COVID has started, he's been doing these like town hall type of meetings. And if you ask me, he's been very cool when he's been under questions, So we're going to watch this particular clip where he's actually explaining the nursing home deaths numbers being smudged. I don't know how he can in any way explain that. I waited to watch it with you all, but he's going to try. And if you're familiar with Cuomo, he's actually pretty smooth when he, talks his bullshit. So let's see what it is, and let's see if you guys believe him. This is Cuomo explaining why he smudged the numbers for the corona deaths in nursing homes.
For his leadership as his state became the U.S. epicenter of the pandemic, even writing a book on his leadership and receiving an Emmy for his regular briefings, Governor Andrew Cuomo now under fire from new accusations of underreporting New York nursing home deaths. This after facing backlash over his controversial policy sending infected residents who had been hospitalized with COVID back to nursing homes. Now, New York State Attorney General saying there were almost 15,000 COVID nursing home deaths, nearly 50% more than initially reported, which did not account for individuals who died after being taken to a hospital. Cuomo acknowledging the problem Monday while also disputing underreported deaths.
All the deaths in the nursing homes and in the hospitals were always fully, publicly, and accurately reported.
Claiming he delayed reporting the numbers because he was first addressing a federal request for information.
The look of withholding data from state lawmakers and then kind of using a post facto excuse of, we were worried about the federal government just doesn't comport with that image of a guy who got a long way on saying, I'm just following the facts.
You're in the middle of hell during this time. But no excuses. No excuses.
But Cuomo's response falling short for some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. The state's top Republican Senator Robert Ortt blasting what he called a pathetic response by Cuomo. And Democrat Ron Kim, whose uncle died in a nursing home, says Cuomo's explanation that visitors and workers accounted for much of the spread early on as the gaslighting award of the year. Lawmakers and families alike still searching for answers. Many families simply want transparency.
All right, so with that being said, my question to the panel is, did his excuse make sense? What he was trying to say, why he smudged the numbers? And before you guys answer that, I'm gonna read some of the things from the article that they quoted him saying, because obviously that wasn't the full video. They say on Monday, the governor acknowledged that they quote him saying things should have been done differently, and instead that lessons were learned. In retrospect, we should have given more priority to fulfilling information requests, in my opinion. Yes, and that's what created the void, Como said. I just want to make sure people know these are facts. Everything that could have been done was done. I'll start with you, Mia. Him smudging the numbers, did they make sense? Did he have an excuse? Did you buy it? What's your thoughts? Mike's on Teddy Riley.
Yes. I got lost a little bit because I heard him say, we have been accurately reporting blah blah blah, all this. So did I miss the part where it sounded like he was backpedaling?
He didn't necessarily backpedal. He just kind of denied it in a smooth politician way. So, it's kind of like what you're saying is kind of like giving him the credit for avoiding the question. Like he evaded the question, basically, is what it sounds like to me. What at the same time while saying that he did nothing wrong. So, but do you think there's any excuse for him to do what he did?
If he did, because I'm still unclear if he did or didn't. But if he did, fudge the numbers in any kind of way, I think that's there's no excuse for that. Like
right.
Especially as hard as you've been going with like COVID and like the picture that either he painted or the media has painted him of how he's been handling COVID. If he's like smudging the numbers to make it less, as if smudging the numbers is wrong, period. And especially to like give the appearance that we're better than what we say we are. Yeah, that's not cool.
Mika, did you did anything he say stand out to you? Do you believe him?
All right, now I do not believe Cuomo, and I have been following this issue, and I've been following it because my dad was in a nursing home at the start of COVID, and I couldn't even go see my dad. They wouldn't let us in to see my father. I couldn't bring him any food. I couldn't bring him any toiletries, nothing. So to me, it made no sense for families to not be able to come in there because of COVID. But then you send patients that you knew were positive for COVID to the same nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you're responsible for those deaths. And the fact that you turned in numbers that said only and the original number didn't even say 8,500. The original number said like 7,000. And now it's up to 15,000 people that you did not report that died in these nursing homes due to the fact that you signed off on an order to send patients that were recovering from COVID, were still testing positive, but recovering into these same nursing homes where these people were already susceptible. They were the original people that we knew were susceptible to COVID. When it first started, they were like, the elderly is who we need to protect. So why would you send people you know are positive for COVID into these nursing homes with people who have nowhere else to go, who need medical assistance? That was dead wrong. 15,000 people, somebody needs to account for that. That is horrible. Those are people's grandparents and aunts and uncles, and I was just like, well, but what? Like, that's horrible.
Shit is crazy. Schoolboy, thoughts?
Yeah, he had to make a calculated risk, he had to take a calculated risk, and that was the risk that he chose. However, he's gonna have to stand behind that. Like, this is my issue. I think we talked yesterday about somebody getting a Peace Prize for doing something violent, right? Mm-hmm. And like, why is this man getting an Emmy for doing his damn job?
Right.
A corona. So that's how you know the fix is on there. Somebody in the who's of New York went and campaigned to make sure he got that Emmy to try to cover this up. And now it's coming out, and the Emmy don't matter no more. But you already know what it is. He's gonna go the Trump route. They're gonna make a lot of noise about this, even though he might be wrong. Probably is. He's probably gonna get a slap on the wrist and be able to live his days long. You know what I mean? But if that would have been a black man, he would have got 40 years for that.
Oh,
So don't be out here thinking that if that was Kwame Kilpatrick, his ass be going to jail. But don't be out here thinking that these white folks about to start acting different now. Like, no, they the same folk we knew they were when we started this campaign.
I definitely think they're trying to groom him for presidency. I don't know when, but I think that's the thing.
but the thing is, I mean, you know what? After Trump, anything is possible, right? But this dude, for as smooth as he comes across, that nigga has a lot of dirt. You know what I'm saying with him? Like we talked about it on this show, I think on last season, Schoolboy, right? Where we talked about there was a aide that worked for Como's, I guess, his team or whatever, and she was claiming that she was getting sexually harassed. Then there was some other shit coming out where they was claiming Como was sexually harassing this other girl. Then there's video of this dude on Howard Stern talking crazy. You know what I mean? Then you have everything that happened during the COVID. So it's like, I don't know. But it did seem like they were trying to like prep him up. But at the same time, you can proactively see people trying to tear him down. I'm sorry.
I was about to say he went against the federal government, and when you go up against the federal government, you're gonna step on some eggs and have issues with people. So he's gonna have to keep getting this work until they finally get what they want out of him. It is what it is.
Facts. All right, let me go to some of these comments. Kelso said, "Motherfuckers trying to get their businesses opened up, and I understand them underreported. Plus, I don't care about old people in nursing homes, so they don't see it as an issue. They don't care about old people in nursing homes. Excuse me, Kelso. So they don't see it as an issue. And you know what? Not in their defense, but also to add, blame where blame is deserved. Like, I don't know if y'all remember in the beginning of this, in Italy, they enacted some type of wartime shit where they actually gave up on the elderly. Like, they just straight up let them die with no help. You know what I mean? So the way we treat our elders is kind of crazy. Christopher Crook says, top of the morning to you, good brother. You know what I mean? Hit me up behind the scenes. I know you got an album coming out. Let's get that out there. Kelso says, tell that Asian nigga don't act like you care so much about your pops dying in a nursing home when he was the one who put him in that halfway house around strangers to begin with. And I think he's talking about homeboy that was in the clip talking about Como was gaslighting. Laurel says, glad I'm not in New York. And why isn't Como in jail? He killed people. Well, I think he got the complexion for the protection that Schoolboy stated earlier. If he was black, he probably would be in jail. Virginia Sims says, what are the numbers? What's the gap versus actuals versus reported? I believe Mika spoke on that. Mika, what's the numbers that you remember again? You said the numbers are up to a certain amount now.
So right now, it says originally it said like the numbers were around 7,000 that he reported. Now it's saying 8,500 deaths that he reported, but it was actually closer to 15,000 deaths.
Okay.
So that's the big gap. Like there's a lot of people that you did not account for. And that doesn't include the people that were taken from nursing homes and brought into hospitals and then died there.
Copy. Kelso says the reported number was 8,500. Report said the actual numbers may have been 16. He's saying what Mika just said.
I just want to shout out to just teamwork between the viewers and the panel for fact checking these niggas and getting the right information out.
Always. Virginia Sims says the second scandal Como has been involved in. They tried to put him on that Summer Jam screen for sexual harassment a few months ago. Facts. We talked about it around there too. Kelso says creepy Como, and Laurel says I would sue Como and the state of New York and make sure Como suffers if one of my family members died in a nursing home because of. And Brooklyn Huncho says, good morning. Good morning to the homie Big Brooklyn Huncho. Good morning, big homie.
I just want to say, because you said earlier, like Como has a lot of dirt on him. And I'm respectfully saying this to all the New Yorkers who are listening. Like, I personally, because New York is such a rough city for lack of, that's not the word I want to use, but that's the word I got. For lack of a better words, I think to be in any position of power in New York, whether you're a CEO of something or a director of some big company or like a politician, like to get to where you gotta be, like you gonna have some kind of dirt or blood on your hands. It's just so much organized crime, and like you have to push forward. So I'm not saying it's right, but it's not surprising.
Yeah, but the type of dirt that it takes to sometimes come up in a crazy environment, it's not necessarily like sexual harassment and you know what I mean? Shit like that. It's like, yo, you might have a body under your belt or some shit, or you know what I'm saying? Like, might be rumors out there like, yo, this motherfucker will send people at you, like, but sexual harassment, you know what I mean? You
I
don't get no.
think sexual harassment is what comes up, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's other things. And I'm not saying there is or isn't. I'm just saying there's.
Not for you. Yeah, we're not. We're
Yeah.
definitely not. And we're saying, we're not saying Kumo caught in the bodies or anything like that. Well, he got blood on his hands
Well,
from these
he
numbers.
just caught these
Yeah.
8,000 bodies.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Okay. But
yeah,
politics is dirty, but it shouldn't include like sex dirt and death dirt. Like it should include like money dirt,
Right. All right. So also in a COVID update, I want to talk about this situation right here. Obviously we're not advocating for the vaccine up here. We let people have their own opinions and come up with their own conclusion. All we do is just bring the facts to the table and decipher if they are in fact facts. But I wanted to say that in regards to the weather being crazy in certain areas, especially in the South right now, where they're not used to snow and all of this, there has been a situation where the crippling weather hampers vaccines deliveries, and this comes to us from usnews.com. I'm going to read some of the article. They say across the large swath of the nation, including deep South states like Georgia and Alabama, the snowy, slippery weather either led to the closing of vaccination sites outright or held up the necessary shipments, with delay expected to continue for days. In New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio says doses expected this week were delayed by weather elsewhere in the country, forcing the city to hold off making 30,000 to 35,000 vaccination appointments. So I just thought that was something that we should put on the table really quick. And I know everybody else's opinion on the vaccine up here, but Mika, I haven't had a chance to ask you about the vaccine. Just really quick, just let us know. How do you feel about the vaccine? Do you plan on getting it? Are you waiting it out like most people to see what are the outcomes? What's your thoughts?
I was super hoping you ain't asked me. I was hoping me with this vaccine question. I'm waiting it out. I'm gonna wait a good few more months to see how many people turn into zombies or die, and then I guess I'll give it a try if everybody makes it. But I need to know what these long-term effects are. I want to grow a third arm when I turn 50 or something.
That's the fucked up part. Like we really won't know the long-term effects until a long time from now. You know what I mean? But we will know about any short-term effects that could happen. But I feel you. Definitely.
That's why I'm waiting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Food Boy.
I was just gonna say, it seems like a short-term effect is instant death within a week or so.
that has happened.
That's why, like, my stance is like, call me in 30 years because I want to see the long-term effects. I still stand by, so I still stand by the like, this is a big mass clinical trial, and this is gonna be the mesothelioma. I can never say that word. Commercials like, did you get a vaccine back in 2021? You may be eligible for a settlement. Like, you can't rush time no matter what. And I'm actually shocked at how many people I know that have gotten it or are getting it. I thought it would be more people that were backing out of it, but a lot of Black people and people of color I know are like turning in numbers to get it. So that's really shocking to me.
Yeah, and I will be interviewing some people I know personally who got the shot on the show, so we can follow them closely. Kelso said, if you get that vaccine, you're spitting in the face of the victims of the Tuskegee Airmen experiment. # stay woke. Steph Soprano, what's good, brother? Max Steph, how you, brother? Says, can't even do flu shots. And Virginia Sims says, RP Hank Aaron. He died after taking that vax. RP to that man. And Max Steph says, and top of the morning. Top of the morning, Max Steph, light up. I already know you are.
I want to know if Cicely Tyson got the vaccine because she got like they haven't said. If anybody knows that answer, please let me know. But I'm curious because Hank Aaron, that was too close for comfort.
Yeah, and you know what? While you at it, thank you for saying that. RP to Miss Cicely Tyson. We haven't got an opportunity to say that on the show yet, so thank you for bringing her up. Redemption Song 76 says, my dad gets his second shot on Saturday. I kind of feel like he should have, although I'm on the fence. He's 80. Well, salute to your father. I hope everything is well with him. You know what I mean? And keep us in the loop. Brooklyn Honcho says, I'm thinking of taking the vaccine just to help society possibly open up again. But of course, we know there are risks. You know, I think the people that go to Vegas for $5 and stay at the rooms for $10. I think those right during the midst of Corona, I think those should be the people that take the shots. You know what I mean? And the people that raided the Capitol with no mask on, they should be taking the shots. You know what I mean? Kelso says, not your job, Brooklyn Honcho, respectfully. Well, salute that man's sacrifice. Salute to all the people we do know and love who decide to take the vaccine. As you know, knowing full on well that they're sacrificing themselves to hopefully help society out. Virginia Sims says, I'm not taking it unless they mandate it to travel via airlines. Fair enough. And Steven, my big bro Steven says, good morning, ladies and gents. Good morning to you, brother. Good morning to you, good brother. And Laura
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, guys, would you guys take the vaccine if they say without this vaccine, you now have to stay within the United States for however many years until this corona thing clears? Would you then take the vaccine to leave the States or go on vacation?
No.
Oh, man.
Yo, check this out. My kids, so one of my family members was kind of tricked into taking the vaccine and was told that they have to get the vaccine to be able to take mandatory shifts at their job. So they took the vaccine, and then the job came back and was like, oh, never mind. Don't worry about going over there. What? So,
it feels illegal in the land of the free that we're like, yeah, you're free, but we're just going to make it extremely hard for you if you don't fall in line with our agenda. So, like, a few friends who that I know who've had the vaccine is like, yeah, my job's making me. And I'm like, nobody's making you. Like, we're adults. Like, you can't get in trouble. Kids get in trouble. Like, we're adults. We're going to have a conversation. But you still have the choice. And it's so sad that we're so loyal to these jobs that if we die, they're going to send our families flowers and post an opening at the same time and move on without you. So for anybody who's on the fence and feel like I have to do this to pay, like, you can figure it out. And you will figure it out. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but I think it's just so sad that people are so chained to, I have to do this because they said so, or my life's going to be hard. Like, I'll figure out how to travel unvaccinated.
Yeah, and then the other thing about it is that it's just like the flu vaccine. Just because you get the flu vaccine does not mean you're not going to get the flu. It don't even mean that it's going to be easier for you to get the flu. I mean, like the symptoms are going to be any easier. It just means that you are vaccinated against a form of the flu. So once you get this vaccination, and we're seeing all these variants come out, you got vaccinated for the US version, and you get the UK version, and you're just as sick as the next man who didn't get vaccinated. Like that. So people are saying, "Oh yeah, well, you might not be hospitalized that severely." But this is the same medical community. Remember. Don't make them let you forget. Don't let them make you forget. This is the same medical community that told us early on to leave the mask to the nurses and doctors, we'll be fine. And like 2 weeks later was like, oh yeah, you do need the mask. Matter of fact, now they're telling us to wear 2 masks. Like, come on, man. So just say you don't know what's going on and leave it at that. Stop trying to tell people to get vaccines. That's not going to help nobody. It's a fake safety blanket.
Yo, but that's a good question.
And let's remember, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's a good question. And I don't know if I have an answer. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I have an answer to that because that's a hell of a hold you hostage type situation. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
That's you. It's on you.
I was just saying, like, remember, the money is not in the cure; it's in the medication. So, are they really giving this vaccine to cure people to stop them from getting COVID with the amount of money they're making because of COVID? Or are they just going to limit now and make it into something like the flu, where they can still make money off of however this is going to proceed?
I'll tell you this much. If this shit gets to a place where it's just like the flu, which a lot of people feel it is, like from the jump, people felt like, it's just another flu. I'll take that over what we're dealing with now. You know what I'm saying? Because I was never scared of getting the flu. You know what I mean? Like, I had the flu. I never was, oh, shit, I got the flu. Life is going to end. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I got the flu. You know what I mean? A few days out of work. I'll be back. You know what I mean? So, really quick, Lorville says, okay, first Steven says, I believe in a few weeks you won't be able to travel without taking a vaccine. I think they're pump faking with that. I think, like with the story Schoolboy gave, I think they keep telling us you're not going to be able to do certain things. And then they just try to get you to get vaxxed, and then they kind of like say, forget it. Because for the longest while, we thought that you couldn't get off a plane without being tracked or tested and all of these things. And that was just a myth. The most they was doing was just having you sign a form. And if you don't sign the form, there's nobody chasing you down. Like, you ain't signed this fucking form. And I have friends who have family who came from the Caribbean and all types of places, and they walk right off the plane. So I think, a lot of that, they just pump faking. And that story Schoolboy gave is crazy. I didn't even get a chance to say that. Lorville says, black fact, Minister Farrakhan's cousin is Mrs. Tyson. I didn't know that. And Virginia Sim says, that's a dope lineage. Lorville says, I'm cool. I could travel to Miami, Atlanta, Denver, and etc. Yeah, that's a fact. And Kelso says, she should schoolboy. Lawyer up, dead ass. That could be a major case if you get a top-notch lawyer. Have your you said it was a family member, Schoolboy?
Yeah, but I'm not. It's a family member. We're not gonna go too much into it. Long story short, that's her problem, bro. Let's leave it at that.
All right, Brooke Andre says, if the government added financial incentive, watch how fast a lot of people start taking those vaccines.
Oh yeah. Now President Biden said, listen, Negro, I will forgive all these student loans, bro. Go ahead and roll this sleeve up and shit. Yeah, come get it.
All right, Virginia Sim says, forget. Virginia Sim says, don't forget Bill Gates and his wife wants to vaccinate the black population first. And yeah, I did hear them say that, you know what I mean? But believe it or not, right now the vaccines are more readily available in other neighborhoods. So I will say that. I throw that out there. Kelso says, you should get financial incentive, in my opinion, Broken Honcho. Motherfuckers are participating in a clinical experiment by taking a 9-month-old vaccine with zero compensation. And Lorville says, I would agree with Mia if she was talking about low-paying jobs like fast food. But what if you worked hard in school to get into the medical field and you're going to think twice before leaving? Well, I have a friend who's also a client of mine who her show will be appearing on the network soon too. She's a nurse. She works hard. I think right now she's working on her PhD or her master's, one of those. But she works really hard. But at the same time, she's willing to get fired to not take that vaccine. And she's working in a hospital, but she's willing to get fired for not taking
I
that.
agree with you. The point is the government shouldn't be putting people in this position to make a decision whether I take the vaccine or I cannot take care of myself and my family. The real problem is the government is not set up to take care of its people. We really shouldn't be in this position in the first place. So I agree with you.
Lovell says, I would agree. Oh, my fault. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Brooklyn Honcho. I'm okay with being a sheep because a lot of shit is over my head. Fair enough. You know what I'm saying? Fair enough. All right. With that being said, and we were speaking about weather, and I saw a few comments that I missed. Apologize about the comments that I missed, but I did skim them, and they were also about the weather and how crazy it is. So first of all, salute to people in Texas struggling right now. And our very own internet is in the middle of that shit. They got blackouts in Texas right now. And of course, it hit the news that, let me just read the article. Texas mayor, and I'm quoting the article, says, Tim Boyd, now former mayor of Colorado City, Texas, made headlines after a lengthy Facebook badmouth of residents. I guess they meant a lengthy Facebook post where he badmouthed the residents and of his city during the statewide power and heat outages. Boyd's resignation came just hours after the intensive Facebook post where he told Colorado City residents, no one owes you or your family anything. And the city and the country, along with the powers that be, providers, or any other service owes you nothing. And he added that he's sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout.
While he gets paid by taxpayers' money? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Look at your whole existence is a handout. Did he retire? Or did he have to resign after that?
He resigned. All right,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go a little further. So they're going to say, for a bit of context, large areas across Texas have been without power as the state goes through a once in a generation snowstorm that has already claimed the lives of at least 5 people. Wow, I didn't know that. And they also quote this man saying, bottom line, quit crying and looking for a handout. Get off your ass and take care of your own family. However, Boyd later apologized for the lengthy Facebook rant, saying, I would never want to hurt the elderly or anyone that is in true need of help to be left to fend for themselves, which is not a real apology. It's not a real apology at all.
I agree with what he's saying, just not, it's like read the room. Like, that's not the place to say it. So I agree with like picking yourself up, like doing what you need to do, whatever it takes, like to get like yourself together. But you are a public servant. Like you can't, like what? Like quit crying? Because everyone doesn't have the same tools and we're not all at the same finish line. So you're the representation of everyone for the people who haven't gotten there yet, the unjust, the underserved. Like, you can't say that, nigga, not in this context. You're supposed to be rallying your troops to help your community. Come on now.
Facts. You're a public servant for the general.
Honestly,
Go ahead, sis.
Yeah. Honestly, the way the interview sounds like he was just having a conversation and somebody was quoting him. Like it sounds like he was talking to somebody he knows. He's like, they need to help themselves. That does not sound like he was giving a radio interview at all. I feel like he was having a conversation and somebody just took it.
Right, but he was ranting on Facebook, though. He was ranting on Facebook. This is just his post. So he got caught out there with the, you know how Facebook says, as soon as you log on, that shit says, what are you feeling? And some people take that shit literally. And they let Facebook know what they feeling.
Like, that's for your group chat.
Right. You're the mayor. You say that shit in your house with the phones in another room. Like, go ahead, Schoolwork.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like I think that people forget the fact that government exists to serve you. No government can ever tell you no government can ever really tell you no. What they can say is that's not within my particular purview, but shit, who's the next port of call for me to get the help that I'm looking for? Whatever it is. Because the government doesn't exist in a vacuum for just to employ people. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that a lot of Americans, especially Americans, forget the fact that the government owes you everything. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be able to go to them and be like, bruh, I can't pay my rent this month. And they're supposed to be like, all right, bet. Let me run up in my pocket to figure out what I can do for you. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole pick you up by the bootstraps only really exists for black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they cut our feet off and cut our throats for the last few generations. Then they come back at us and be like, all right, now it's your turn. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Now, my cousin and my uncle and them, we gave them 0 interest loans. We gave them free land for nothing. We gave them slaves, and then gave them a police patrol to keep the slaves on the plantation. But when it's your turn to shine, you need to do this shit with sticks and stones. Hopefully they don't break your bones type shit. Like, come on now. Like, give me the same thing you gave everybody else before you tell me pick myself up by the bootstraps.
Schoolboy, I think talking about white supremacy makes
as
you
they
feel
use
better.
No, it definitely does because people don't talk about it enough. People don't talk about it enough. Like we all, it's one of those situations where people often talk about the problem, right? And then they dance around the source of the problem, and then they wonder why they can't solve the problem. Because you never
I
address
think
the
you need to
problem.
talk about white supremacy all day today, and that will cure your cough.
Well,
I'm
you
quite
know what?
sure.
We can get to white supremacy. There's definitely something to talk about when it comes to white supremacy via the Civil War report. But before we do that, we're going to get to some of these comments, and then we're going to wrap up this COVID report. Tammany, I hope I'm saying you're right, sister, says his wife was fired from her job also for defending him. Interesting. And I didn't know that. Salute Cat says Texas emergency management should be ashamed. Fuck out of here. That's a fact. Virginia Sims says fact, schoolboy. When it comes to helping black people, they call it socialism and un-American. Facts. Kelso says they said they had to shut the power off to stop from complete state overload and shutdowns. Also, the power sources in Texas aren't built to operate in blowing, freezing temperatures. This is all alleged, though. And at the same time, like Kat says, there's no excuse. And I don't think Kelso was trying to say his excuse. That's what they said. But even in what they're saying, they're basically saying it's on them, right? It's on them to build a certain type of structure, right? It's not on the people. The people don't build,
Honestly,
you know.
though,
Sorry.
Honestly, I agree with Kelso. Texas was not built for this snow. If you watch the people in Texas yesterday, they were trying to shovel with like rakes. They had the little scoop from the garden. Nobody knew what to do. All them big trucks in Texas, don't nobody got snow tires. They were completely lost. That's what
Wow.
snow hit. They was sitting, nobody had blankets. They didn't like it was 84 degrees 2 days ago. So they didn't know what to do.
But you know what's fucked up? Like I actually went through a power outage in my area in the beginning of winter, and we probably only went without power for like 2 days. But that shit felt like the Stone Age. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was horrible. Like I don't wish that shit on nobody. You know what I mean? I don't like cold showers. I like warm, hot showers. You feel me? Like I don't like having to fucking light candles all over the house. I got a towel in the house. You feel me? I don't want to have candles in the nighttime. And then it's like, as soon as the sun go down, it's dark as shit. You feel me? In your house. You feel me? And it's not even really late. Like you got a bunch of food that's spoiling. You got to run to the store and go get ice box and all types of shit. Like that shit is a headache I don't wish on anybody.
Yo, so I went through the whole Snowmageddon in Atlanta, and the one of the biggest issues, like somebody said a little bit earlier, the state's not really ready for that. They haven't had snow in 100 years or something crazy like that. Like they're not ready for a dusting of snow. So the same 3 inches that had us last weekend under snow here in Virginia, like it didn't shut down the state because they had the folks on the ready. But in Texas, I fully expect them to be having a catastrophic experience right now because they're right next to Mexico. And, you know what I'm saying, they don't know what snow looks like and what to do in the snow. That's the reason why people can't, they don't know what to do to clean the snow off. They're like, yo, let me go get a backhoe to go clean the snow off. Like, bro, you don't get your ass in the house somewhere.
Brooklyn Hodges says, I've been back in Brooklyn for a week now. I realized just how unnecessary snow is. I feel you on that, man. When I moved back from California, I was like, man, I'm staying in the house all winter. Fuck that shit. Kat says every state has a mitigation plan. Research. This issue has left poor communities without power long, and that's another good point because you already know they're going to leave certain communities without power for longer. They're gonna go to certain communities and fix them up first. You know what I mean? That's also something that should be acknowledged. And once again, when that shit happened to me, I remember when I was driving, I pulled up on the people that was fixing the power lines and shit. Like, yo, you fixing that area right there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here. I don't need nobody to advocate for me. I'm running up on the niggas in the trucks. When are y'all fixing this shit? That's what I did. Steph says the snow is payback for how Bush handled Louisiana and Katrina. Oh, shit. And Cat Brian says longer. We know what you mean, sis. And Redemption says true. And there was a couple comments that I missed. Let me see if I can get them before we move on. Virginia Slim says social media, stay exposing people. That's a fact. You got to be careful. And speaking of that, you ever go back? I don't know. Has anybody on this panel ever go back like a few years on your own social media and seen some stupid shit you post? Has anybody had a version of growth? Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. Virginia Slim, I think sometimes people just be exposing themselves too. Like, especially like you're the mayor. You know that whatever you write on your Facebook post is going to be scrutinized. Even if you said good morning, like somebody's not going to like you saying good. You didn't say good morning to all. Oh,
Why
well,
is
you
it so
didn't say
good?
good morning to Black people. Why is it so good? And so I really do not understand like this culture of incriminating yourselves. Like, it really is. Social media is a drug. Like, and I'm like, it gets people stuck on stupid.
Facts. And I'm definitely glad that I came back to this comment. Kelso says, bruh said, grab your nuts and build the igloo, little niggas. He was fed up with all the phone calls. You know what I mean? And Kat says, yes, redemption is terrible, shutting down power during freezing temperatures. Yeah, and then we're in the middle of Corona, which is why I did want to speak about it on the cuffs of the COVID update, because you're in the middle of a pandemic and then you're going to have people live without power. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Aki says, nigga, they didn't have salt trucks. That's the way.
They
No.
They were using the asphalt trucks to
Oh,
lay the salt down on the
wow.
street. When I tell you those videos, I laughed so hard as a New Yorker. I was like, dang, man.
Yo, that was the same situation in Atlanta. Like in Atlanta, what ended up happening, it wasn't that the snow was so bad, it was the reaction to the snow that was worse. So we folks got on the highway, one person in front of 1,000 people behind them crashed into the wall. So what they do in Atlanta when somebody gets in an accident, they stop all the traffic on the highway. It ain't just move it over to the side. They stop all the traffic. Okay, so now you stop traffic on the highway in the middle of a snowstorm. So all that snow just building up and nobody's riding on the street ahead of it. So when they finally do open traffic back up, it's way more slick in front of you with all the 1,000 cars behind you because of this one car that got into an accident.
Yeah, so, being from Atlanta, I know like we don't have that infrastructure. Wow. I personally don't drive in snow because I've never been trained to drive in snow, and the accident rate goes up. Like I remember I was working at the mall the last like big snowstorm I lived in Atlanta with, and I got in trouble because I didn't really give a fuck. Like because I wasn't coming in, and I was like, I'm not coming in to make $15 an hour because y'all not gonna pay for this $15,000 car wreck that I'm gonna get in. So that store did not open that day. I was like an assistant manager or something. I was like, that shit will stay closed. Ain't nobody worried about that.
Lovell says, I would shit on his porch, then wait for him to come outside to put hands and feet on him. I feel you. But did you mean sit on his porch, or did you mean shit on his porch and still wait?
I think what he wrote, I hope that's what you meant.
He clearly put that H there.
Brooklyn Hodger says, I think it was insensitive, but he definitely should have doubled down on his belief. We stand on it, right? I feel you on that. Hey, yo, Brooklyn Honcho, I got your donation, brother. And you guys should probably check yours too. Thank you, Brooklyn Honcho. I appreciate it. And
big up Brooklyn Honcho, man.
All I heard from Honcho was I'm in Brooklyn. He didn't even come to see me.
Well, then. And Mika, I know you didn't put your Cash App up this today, so I'm going to send you half of what anybody sends me. All right. So starting with Brooklyn, what Brooklyn sent me. So I appreciate you pulling up.
Oh, thank you.
And so salute Brooklyn Honcho. Thank you, bro. Thank you, brother. Virginia Sim says America's infrastructure to handle natural disasters is trash. That's a fact. And Redemption Song says, I read where crews apparently went on vacation to Cancun. That's insane. That's crazy. And the Road Show says, he's crazy disrespectful. Fuck that fake ass apology. And I think that was definitely your fake ass apology. I don't even think it was an apology at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, he only said he feels sorry for the people who can't do for themselves, which is like, a way of throwing shade still to the people you were talking about originally, right? Because he's telling you you know, like I think who said that? Kelso. So he's basically saying grab your nuts and build an igloo, right? So this nigga's he didn't even apologize. Kelso said Ja reading his statements is priceless. Thank you, sir. I'm glad it was entertaining. Miss Ravioli says all these folks getting shows and I'm being offered a segment. Miss Ravioli, you better cut it out. You better cut it out. And first of all, Mika already had the show. All right. So that goes to show you didn't even watch all the shows on the channel yet. So don't let me get petty. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't a petty person. But no, Mika has a show already. And Mika is somebody who I work with in real life as well, right? In the world. You know what I mean? Mika was supposed to start her show from when we was in the studio before COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, we said, fuck it, we're not going to let it stop the plans. And we just did it all virtually. Miss Ravioli, you got to relax. All right? Everything will happen in divine time. All right? Divine time. With that being said, oh shit, Brooklyn just said I sent you another one for Mika. My dude, I got you, my dude. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Brooklyn. I got mine too. That's
Salute.
Thank you, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, hit me up behind the scenes too, man. I'm gonna email you and shit. I got an opportunity for you and shit because we are looking for co-producers for the show, moving into a new format. So I think you'll be a perfect candidate for that. Laurel says, "I meant shit, Ja." Oh, he was serious.
I told you he put that H there. He should have capitalized it.
He's gonna shit on the man's porch, and when he come outside mad at the shit on his porch, he will put hands and feet on him. And I don't know if y'all remember, I did a interview with Bill Duke on this channel, and Bill Duke he didn't say shit on people's porches, but he kind of said the same thing. He said, these people have addresses. These people are public, servants. You can knock on their door. You know what I mean? This is the OG Bill Duke talking. He did say that in the the piece we did called Your Vote Matters. And speaking of, go ahead, Schoolboy.
I'm going to say I'm not going to advocate for this, but I will tell you about a personal experience I've had in the past. When I was in college, one of the things that fraternity houses used to do at the white school, by the way, because I went to a black school and I went to a white school. So at the white school, what they would do is they would shit in a bag and then light it on fire on the other fraternity houses door. So they would shit in the bag, light that shit on fire, and go. So every once in a while, you walking past the frat houses, and it's like, is that a bag on fire? What the hell is that smell? So yeah, it's definitely possible that these things could happen.
That's incredible.
They do it. They do it in an effort to get them to come outside and step on the fire, and then you step in the bag of poop.
Yeah.
I went to a white school. I did it. I took a cow too.
Redemption says that Bill Duke episode was awesome. Thank you for that, sister. And I was glad you was able to be there live. I really appreciate that. Virginia Sims says people are dying from carbon monoxide poisoning, trying to keep warm, lighting grills in their living rooms and shit. Yeah, that's fucked up. Like I said, I don't wish that on nobody. And Miss Ravioli says, let me call my family in Houston to see how they doing. Yeah, and once again, I want to send love to Miss Antoinette, one of our co-hosts. She's in Texas, and I hope she's well. We don't wish this on anybody. Good morning, Mills Lane hopped in the chat. Peace to Mills Lane.
Mills.
Peace, big brother.
I think what Virginia Slim is talking about is a woman and her daughter just died. I don't know if they just died yesterday, but I saw the story yesterday. They were keeping warm in their car, but they had their garage door down and they died of carbon monoxide poisoning, which is really
yes,
bad.
I've seen somebody I follow in Texas did say that too. Actually, now that I think about it, they didn't mention that family in specific, but they did mention people were doing that. That's fucked up.
Yeah, man, that's another reason why you need a man in the house, because that shit wouldn't happen. No man's gonna, let that shit ride like that. I'm just saying that we need both of those elements in the house together to be like, yo, this is a good idea.
Salute to the Rose Show for the donation. I appreciate you, sister. Laura Vell says, what's Mika's IG? Mika, you want to give him your IG?
My IG is Mika J Woods, MEKA Woods.
Without the dot, like it's spelled right there. And really quick before we move on to the next segment, I want to bring on our special co-host for the day, Mika, our homeboy, Malcolm. I said Malcolm.
I appreciate that. All praises due. Rest in power to Malcolm X. Unfortunately, the day of his assassination is the anniversary of his assassination is slowly approaching. But yes, it is the God, Muhammad X. Shakur.
Muhammad X. Shakur, my good brother. You see him on the check-in, Mika? You see your brother?
What's up, Muhammad? I seen you since COVID started.
Yeah,
Man,
it's been a while. It's been a while. I
you
haven't
looking
seen.
full?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it back. I'm trying to get it back. It used to be fuller than this.
I see you. I see you. All right.
All right. So real quick, before we move on fully into the next segment, we were just talking about a former mayor who had to resign for talking reckless to his constituents. But with that being said, we have a sister who's running for mayor that Mimi has some experience with. Mimi, you want to speak on this sister real quick?
Yes. So Maya Wiley
Move over,
is running.
move over.
Who? Oh, me.
Yes.
This way.
There you go.
Ooh.
All right. Now,
So
that over. Let's get it. Let's get it. Go ahead.
Maya Wiley is running for mayor of New York. You can go to her website. I don't know a lot about politics. I'm excited. She's a Black woman. If anybody is Greek in the chat, she's also a Delta woman. She used to work for Bloomberg. I sat in on one of her Zoom, like kind of just conferences saying like why you should vote for her. She seems really genuine. Like I said, I don't know too much about her, so you can look her up yourself. But if she wins, she would be the first Black mayor. And Black woman mayor. So we want to get her there. And she seems like she has a lot of like Black agenda in the forefront and has been on the right side of police reforming and those kind of movements. So shout out to her. And if you can vote for her.
All right. Well, listen, really quick, not to even, not to even seemingly throw you under the bus, but you meant first Black woman mayor, correct? Not first Black mayor.
I thought she was both, but I don't know. Maybe I misheard that.
No, we had Mayor Dinkins, and I forgive you because you're not.
Okay.
We had Mayor.
Oh, how sacrilege! Cut her mic off.
Salute to Mayor Dinkins. Rest in peace, right, schoolboy?
Yeah, man. Yo, Mayor Dinkins was the mayor right before I left New York officially, as a resident of the state. But I was always back in New York for years and years after that through the Giuliani years. But yeah, man, I remembered Mayor Dinkins because I don't know why. I just thought that guy was my friend when I was 5 years old.
Cat Brian said over 30 candidates running for NYC mayor. My thing is this is, and I don't mind anybody endorsing people. She also says endorsements, laugh out loud. I don't mind anybody endorsing someone who they have, who they feel strong about. You know what I mean? What I will say is this: we need to put more people into a position of power so we can also hold them accountable. I will say that. You know what I mean? And I don't think we challenge ourselves to do that quite often enough. I think hold on, I'll let you. But I think a lot of times we say we're not part of the system and we just kind of alienate the system because we feel alienated by the system, and then we don't utilize any type of collective power or bargaining chips to put people in power and force them to do what we ask them to do because we put them in power. I think we need to do that more often. Mom, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's actually a little bit more complicated than that, sadly. The reason why I say that is because, again, like we have black people running for office, which is not a bad thing. But the thing is, we have to actually come, like you said, collectively. We got to come together and we got to form our own lobby groups, or we have to form our own interest groups, so that way we can actually financially support these people, and that way they have no choice but to vote. I bet not vote for us. They have no choice but to see what it is that we want. Like if anybody look at the presidential candidate, the presidency of Barack Obama, for example. Yeah, everybody expected him to look out for black people, but when it was all said and done, he did not. He looked out for a whole bunch of other groups of people: the LGBTs, the Jews, and any other so-called minority group. And the reason for that is because all these particular groups, they got together, they established their own interest groups, and they actually lobbied for him, meaning they actually put money into his campaign. So with that being said, for the sister, if we're really taking her serious, or if we really strongly believe that she want to enact change here in New York City, we actually have to come together and we got to put money in her purse. Otherwise, we can sit here and talk about how, you know, she got a black agenda and we'll vote for her, but it's not enough to vote.
Correct, sir. And I believe Schoolboy has made that point before in the past as well. You know what I mean? Schoolboy has definitely brung up other communities who move like that. So you're right. It's not just enough for us to put a little buzz behind someone's name. You do got to donate. And with that being said, if you look up this woman, Maya, who a lot of you seem to want to look up, I think somebody in the comments asked what's her IG. And I think Kelso said she could get it. Yeah.
Also,
hold on, brother.
Okay.
But yeah, here's the comment. You know, we read the comments here. Kelso says,
"Oh wow,
what's that at?" She is pretty, sir. She is pretty. All right.
Yeah.
Let's not just focus on how she looks, but
exactly.
if we want to put money into her
Threats
purse,
to me.
if we want to put money in her purse as what Muhammad suggested we should do if we're going to take these candidates serious, what I wanted to say is that in the description, the very last line in the description of this of our broadcast is a link to donate. There is a link to donate. We put a link to donate to her campaign. All right. So if you want to donate, if you like what she's talking about, feel free. Mika, you were trying. No, matter of fact, before I get to Mika, Muhammad was trying to say something.
Yeah. Also, the last thing I wanted to point out was remember the Ice Cube situation when he was trying to have a sit down with both presidential candidates, Trump and Biden, for example, and unfortunately he was met with a lot of controversy. The reason for that is because, well, let's be honest with you. Ice Cube, aka Mr. Jackson, O'Shea Jackson, he knew how politics work, which is why he wanted to have a sit down with, you know, each presidential candidate before voting, because he wanted to see what it is that they had to offer. He basically wanted to see how much were they willing to pay for our vote. But unfortunately, a lot of us did not listen. And when it's all said and done, look at Biden now. He's enacting a whole bunch of policies that going completely against blackness, for example, with Nigeria, for example. And excuse me. And I'm not saying that he is not going to, quote unquote, create a policy to hush black people up within the next 4 years. Who knows? Maybe he might do that. But the bottom line is we all have to collectively come together, establish some kind of standard, and actually put money into these presidential candidates' purses. Not presidential candidates. Sorry, these constituents purses. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place, but y'all get the gist of what I'm saying.
It's all good, Mom. It's all good. With that being said, Schoolboy, do you want to lead us in a conversation about Biden, the things he's putting forward? Which story would you like to start with?
Let's talk about the student loan issue, man. Just because we're getting a little backpedal on that, and we just had the conversation about how the government owes you something, absolutely owes you something.
All right, so let me get that.
While you're working on that, I just want the folks who are watching the show, all of our regular folks who are watching the show, especially, we really, really, really appreciate what you're doing, just being here and allowing us to share this content with you. That being said, we're in season 3. We want to move to the next level. We want to get some folks on the panel that will be more permanent and get more of a framework around what we're doing and really be out here evangelizing this show. In order for us to do that, just like we talked about with the politicians, we need funds to go into our marketing budget. It is what it is. We got to get the word out. So as we move forward, Logic, I know Logic always got something up his sleeve. As we move forward, we got to be sure to promote the show, support the show. You know what I mean? Put your money where your mouth is. I'd rather be here. You know, I'm while we're on the show, honestly, I'm getting paid in another way. I'd rather be getting this be my primary way to get paid. Honestly, You know, then I can be here and focus on this 100%. But every few minutes, I got to look up at my computer and do some actual work to get some money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? And that's all good. It's just that it is what it is. Yo, protect this show. I think this show has a lot of potential. I really like doing the show. And we got to put some money in this marketing budget. I'm on Jai's neck about that shit every time we talk. You know what I'm saying? But, all right, yeah. So talking about that financial power and talking about the finances of President Joe Biden. So remember early on, part of the big sell of Joe Biden was Joe Biden is going to forgive student loans. I had niggeros on my back about the fact that I need to vote for Crime Bill Joe because he's going to forgive my student loans. And this young man, you know, getting older, Joe Biden I'm talking about, Joe Biden went on camera and said, oh no, he pulled a Kamala Harris. Oh no, I don't want to forgive too much because that'll benefit the people who went to schools that cost a lot of money. All right. The answer to that is, so the F what, bruh? Yo, you wasn't thinking about the poor lending communities when you were giving the student loan folks a pass to basically tax people all the way until they damn dead about a degree that it ain't gonna make no sense. Let me clarify. Joe Biden is the reason why you can't declare bankruptcy and get rid of your student loans. So Joe Biden created this problem, and now the community is saying, hey, Joe, go fix this shit. You're in a position to fix the problem you made. And his result is, oh, no, I'm going to fix it sort of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I stabbed you in the back, but here's a Band-Aid. Hold that. Like, bro, are you fucking serious? Listen, a lot more people should be a lot angry about this.
Yo, listen, man. Professor B, schoolboy, a.k.a. Professor B.
Yeah.
Where's your pipe, man? Where's your pipe? Where your professor?
Right. Listen, man, I ran out of tobacco for my pipe.
All right. Listen. You raised some good points, and you broke it down really well. And really quick, I'm going to bring on another special guest co-host for the day, MC Mighty Casey, a.k.a. Casey Games.
Yo, what's up, Casey? Yo, you know I'm about to go with this. Yo, Casey, I did not know you had a video on Uncut. And I saw that, I kept hearing it, and I don't think it computed until I finally saw it. Casey, you're a fool for that shit, bro. But that shit was classic.
But speaking of being a fool, Casey also went to Columbia, which is one of those schools Biden would suggest is a school that where people shouldn't get their loans forgiven, right? Mohammed Shakur, you've been on both sides of the track, so you broke it down proper. Like I appreciate everything you just said, schoolboy. But the only thing that I remember he said that you missed was that he said these people that went to these expensive schools, he doesn't want to forgive their loans because he can use that money and repurpose it to make community college free. Which, sidebar, is something Charles Barron, who's been running for mayor in New York forever, has been a champion for since day one. There's plenty of people who've been champion for that. But Muhammad, you went to Fisk, but you also met me at a community college that we both went to, right? So you know both sides of the track. Schoolboy, I think the college you went to will probably count as one of those colleges he wouldn't want to forgive student loans for. And
in the middle.
Morehouse, well,
nah, bro. Morehouse is what, $30,000 a year? So you do 4 years at Morehouse and you pay
you
for
know how much Columbia is?
Yeah.
Columbia like 80 now, I think. Columbia like 80, like 60, 70. It was 30 when I went there.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm talking about what it was when I like you said when I went there in the 10 years ago. So definitely, and the thing about these HBCUs especially is that they'll ratchet that damn tuition up, but they're not adding no extra amenities for that shit. You know what I'm saying? That goes into the building fund like at your church.
But
not at all. I went to an HBCU and the tuition was not cheap. But our campus, when I transferred and went to a predominantly white college, a PWI, oh my gosh, the tuition was cheaper, but the school was better. I said, how does this work?
Wow. Mika, I hear you, but you're going in and out a little bit from the Bluetooth. So if you have headphones with wires, use those, and if not, maybe without wires. Maybe talk without wires. But so I was just trying to say, Mika, what she just gave us her experience. She went to HBCU and elsewise, right? And Mimi, you went to, I forgot where you went. Where'd you go again?
I went to a HBCU, and our campus did get better. Like, we had initiatives. I don't remember if I'm pretty sure inflation. I've been out of school for like almost 10 years.
But I only ask because basically we have every spectrum on this panel right now. Yeah. Right. So the question I want to pose, and I'm gonna go straight to you, Muhammad, though. But the question I do want to pose to the panel is, how do you feel about that concept of people who, because he's almost like he's saying, black and brown folks probably will go to a community college where rich white folks will go to colleges with higher tuitions, when that's not the case, right? We look at this panel and see that that's not the case, right? So how do you guys feel about how he worded why he doesn't want to, forgive student loan debt?
I mean, he's
wait. I gotta go to
like that. Like he said it before. He say smart kids are
Case. My fault. I said I was gonna go to Muhammad first, so please don't forget that line. Start with that, what you was about to say. But Muhammad was trying to raise his hand for a minute. Muhammad,
I wanted to chime in right quick about my FIS experience. The tuition was about 30 to 35,000. I don't know if it had bumped up to about 40,000 now. So I just wanted to set the record straight on that. And what also people need to comprehend about HBCUs is there are two different types. They're public domains, and then there's also private institutions. FISC is example is a private institution, and unfortunately, because it's a private institution, they're not relying on governmental funds. They're actually relying on mostly donations, which is why, unfortunately, Morris Brown had actually closed down and he just recently opened back up. So, and the thing is, in order for HBCUs, particularly the private ones, to actually stay up and running, the alums as well as the other beautiful Black people who claim to love HBCUs, they have to be willing to donate. So it goes back to the conversation of financial power. And I think what it all boiled down to is a lot of us don't fully comprehend our spending power. It's not enough to say, oh, I can, because I have money, I can freely spend it the way I want to. It's more so of how smart I am about my spending power. But to answer your question about the whole Joe Biden situation, you know what? You're gonna have to come back to me on that one, because I need a moment.
He said, all right, thank you for clarifying that. Listen, Casey, now start with your point as far as how Joe Biden's had used semantics before.
Yeah.
In his his politics.
Like he kind of just connects automatically Black with poor. Like he said, like he goes, poor kids are just as smart as white kids. You know what I mean? Like, or something to that effect. Like Black people is synonymous with poor, which is not true. And I think in the media, like Black people are drastically overrepresented as poor, when there's lots of middle class, working class Black people at all levels of society. I would say from my college experience, college is a big hustle for a lot of people. It's a lot of money, you know what I mean? And I like Columbia has a huge endowment. Like they make billions and they don't pay no taxes. They don't really give back to the community too much. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bit of a scam and a hustle. But I feel like me coming in to Columbia, it's also a way to trap you. If you're young, Black, and smart, they get you to a school that costs so much money. So instead of after the school, you're going to be a revolutionary, you're going to do this. Nah, you got all this debt. You got to go to Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? So I feel it's a kind of way to keep the system going, where the rich who really don't got to worry about education can keep on having a networking pool. Because that's one of the more important things that colleges are really there for. Because like right now, you can go to college, you can get lectures online. You know what I mean? You could find tests online. You could do most of the information out there that you can get from an Ivy League education is publicly available. But it's all about that prestige. It's that Bentley. You know what I mean? Like it's that extra status symbol. So I feel a lot of people do go to do get really disillusioned. I remember they had us in that financial aid room when it was all my black friends and my friends on the sports teams, and we was just all in the room, like, and they just told you, like, yo, you're gonna have to pay this off. And me coming from an idealistic education point, like, I wanted the best education. I felt if the white people deserve to go to Ivy League college, so do I. You know what I mean? And it's what you really want out of it, and you really need to think about that when you're going to college. Like, are you going to college to learn and be a better person, or are you going to college to find a way to make money? Because
I was gonna say you raised some really good points just now. You know what I mean? One, that him making it seem like being black is synonymous with poor, which also I feel like goes without saying that even if you're poor doesn't mean you won't end up in an Ivy League college, right? Because your education and your smarts and your wit could get you there, but you're still going to owe possibly money back if you're not going to get a full financial ride. I didn't get a full financial aid ride to community college, and I was in a single parent home. You know what I mean? And just because my mother worked for the city, and we still was in the hood. You know what I mean? They looked at it as, nah, you gotta pay half of the shit or more than half or whatever. Which I end up having to work myself to pay it off. You know what I mean? On my own. She wasn't gonna pay it for me, right? So, yeah, man. But just to wrap up really quick, your thoughts on him saying that we're gonna get these people to pay and the community colleges to be free. Basically, that's bullshit. That's what you're saying, Casey?
And I feel like at a certain level, I mean, obviously, through me meeting you, you had a great networking experience at BMCC, right? But I do feel like they have the status system levels where they have their highest levels networking at the Ivy League schools, you know what I'm saying? And to keep, if they just want to make like community colleges a black thing is what they're saying. Working like middle class rich white people get colleges, and then black people you get like. And for me, like, I seen y'all experience, but for me, my friends who went to community college, it was like an extra couple years of high school. You know what I mean? For them. But yeah. I know there's a lot of community colleges have really great professors, and they have maybe here motivators, but a few of them, at least that I've seen. I mean, obviously, you took initiative at your college to bring something good, and I met professors from your college, so obviously it's not all around the board. But a lot of time, community colleges seem like an extra 2 years of high school, and it's not really preparing people for. I feel like right now it's a system where like, I don't even trust these colleges to teach you about liberal arts, because all they want to do is indoctrinate you. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, like, people really just need to learn trades, learn how to code, learn how to plant, you know what I mean? Learn about the stock market, learn how to do things that can make you fiscally responsible, because a lot of the stuff you're getting from these colleges that you think is some big liberal arts, philosophy, history, is really indoctrination. They're teaching you false history, false philosophy, false economics, and that's where a lot of like brainwashing goes on, recruiting for the CIA. Like, a lot of the people who go to these big financial firms is coming from these Ivy League schools. So I feel like I would say, learn a trade, get money. And also, it's also important to learn about history and culture and all those things, but you don't need no colleges to learn about that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for that. Mika, what's your thoughts on what Biden was saying? Community colleges being free, the schools like the ones you and Casey and basically everybody else on the panel went to, they should pay. What's your thoughts?
Man, first thing, what are the stipulations for free college? Because right now in New York, community college SUNYs or CUNYs are technically free. But the stipulation is after you graduate, you then have to stay in New York for a certain amount of years, and then your debt is paid off because you've worked in New York long enough to pay that debt. So what's the stipulation on free college? That's one. Two, why I gotta pay? My school was expensive. I didn't make that choice. My mama chose my school, so now I still gotta pay for it 20 years later, because I'm gonna be paying my student loans in another 20 years probably. But why I still gotta pay them? Like, can I get free college? I've worked hard enough. I've done all of this. Can we get this loan forgiveness, Joe Biden? Like, why do I have to pay separate from somebody who went to community college? Community college was already cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So now I gotta pay because this person chose to go to a cheaper school. I wasn't given that option.
Right.
I wasn't given the option of community college. My mom was like 4-year or nothing.
Right.
So now what? Like,
Yo, here's the thing that I think that's like the elephant in the room. When we talk about economic policy, they have been selling us on trickle down economics, that falsity, for how many years, right? That works in corporations, meaning, so, you know, if you give more money to Delta, they'll create more jobs. Yo, in this case, the people who spend the most money for education are usually job creators. You know what I'm saying? Like Mark Zuckerberg went to Harvard. He didn't go to a CUNY college and come out with Facebook. He went to Harvard, networked at Harvard to create Facebook. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these folks who are making these massive multi-billion-dollar companies were at very expensive schools to begin with. They dropped out, but they still were able to commune there. Long story short, my point is, those of us who have gone to these schools that cost a lot of money, we have different type of opportunities. One of those opportunities that we would have as Black people, if we had access to capital, would be that we would be able to create jobs. You know what I mean? So, yo, forgive my loans and give me the opportunity to create jobs. Don't cut my feet off, and I can't even buy a damn house because of student loans. And the degree has never paid for itself all these years later. You know, I look at my mother who went to NYU.
Exactly.
And she paid her student loans well into her 40s. Well into her 40s. You know. So it is what it is, man.
Mimi, thoughts?
Yeah, my only thing is that I feel like it's insulting because
can we talk about
Hold on, Mika. She's on a lag. She's on a lag, so that's why she probably heard the gap. But go ahead, Mimi.
Oh yeah. No, to answer your question, I just want to be clear with your question is like, how do we feel about him saying like the bigger schools don't have to pay? I mean, and the smaller schools
have to pay, right? The bigger schools should pay, and community college should be free.
Yeah, so I'm answering that question. One, I feel like it's insulting because even when you think about like these top tier schools, they're theoretically are going to be the ones that are most involved in like society, like politics, social conversations. And these were the people that I would safely assume that he was selling this dream on, and now he's double backing like, just kidding, we're gonna we're gonna just give this to like this community college, which also feels like when a white person does something like racist, but they think they're being kind, but it's like, no, nigga, this is racist. Like, it feels like that is like, well, I need to push a Black agenda anyway, so niggas must go to community college. Like, so it's like two wrongs on this side of the story, on this side, and it's just like, you should have thought about that and did the math before making these promises to get you elected. And now that you are elected, you're not saying you're going to do what you're going to do, but I don't expect much from these politicians anyway.
Right. So. Mika, you have something to say? Yeah, your mic is on tape. No, if you remember what you were going to say, I think you should say it.
I was saying that I was saying that she touched on it already. That's why I just fell back. I was like, thank you.
No doubt. Mohammed.
Yeah, I wanted to interject right quick about this whole college situation. I mean, let's be real. Joe was being a racist, and what the words that came out of his mouth is, if not the words, I'm gonna say his attitude is very much disgusting. Because the thing is, white people walk around with the notion that Ivy League colleges offer superior education, when in all honesty, they do not. They probably offer superior education to white standards, but to American standards overall, generally speaking, no, they don't. There are plenty of Black colleges that offer really good education. There are plenty of brothers and sisters that come from HBCUs, quote unquote prestigious HBCUs, might I add, and have gone on to do something. So the fact that Unfortunately, too many of us think that we have to go to a white college in order to achieve a superior education. I think that feeds into the self-hatred that some of us actually have, which is one. And two, if you are going to go to these PWIs as a black person, you need to figure out what it is that they can do for you, not what you can do for not what you can do for the PWI. I just wanted to point that out.
Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, he made some good points about HBCUs, and I think
I just want to disagree real quick.
He made some good points about HBCUs. And I think also, like, coming into, a PWI, an elite PWI like myself, one of the biggest reasons to go to these schools is networking, is to meet people and meet the Zuckerbergs and meet the Rockefellers and meet the people who's going to give you the Wall Street plugs years later or whatever. And when I was at Columbia, at least, and this was a friend of mine at Stanford, he wrote an article, like, there was so much pressure on black people just to be in the black community, being the Malcolm X Lounge, being the black house, like, places like UPenn, they have a black house, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like in Dear White People. So, and then, so you're coming out, so like you might be at an HBCU and you might be networking with all the alphas, you know what I mean? And all the martyrs in your super wall stack bar right there, Morehouse, and you might have a better chance of becoming successful doing that and networking with your own kind and going to Columbia where you might not even be able to network with the Zuckerbergs. They might just not like, I'm fuck with these niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think, Mika, you trying to say something? I think he froze. All right, she froze.
I was saying that I kind of disagree with Mohammed because I did go to both a predominantly black school. Well, I'm sorry, I went to a HBCU and I also went to a PWI, and I transferred to the PWI because I wanted to experience more of the diversity that I would experience once I got into the working world. Because going to an HBCU, I was going into education and business, and although I got a great sense of self at an HBCU, I then went to a predominantly white school so that I can learn what it's going to be like once I actually get into a school, once I start working in these private schools. And it taught me how more so to deal with a variety of people, how so many different people are going to, like interact with me, as opposed to an HBCU. Everybody was black, everybody looked like me, everybody acted like me, so it was different. So sometimes you do have to go to a PWI to get that experience, to know that the world doesn't all look like you. I went to an all black high school and then I went to an all black college, so I had to go to the PWI to get that experience.
Yo, I'm gonna go ahead and push back on that narrative a little bit, because I went to a HBCU, and I hear this argument from folks who go to the PWIs, and I don't like it, because it's like, yo, when I went to the HBCU, I got a width of experience with a lot of different type of people, because black people aren't a monolith. You know what I'm saying? And so even to where people say, well, it prepares me for being in the real world where there's a diversity of people. Listen, you can go to a HBCU, and I talk about how I was at the HBCU and I could go weeks without seeing another white person. But that was my choice. Had I walked, 2 seconds off campus, I got to deal with nothing but white people. So, you know what I mean? Like college is that insular space. But when you're in college, you should be going outside of the college campus too, to get those type of experiences. You can get it without going to a PWI, and I'll be shitting on them a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather the HBCUs. I'd rather black people go to HBCUs. Yo, find yourself and go out in the world.
I agree.
Mika, go ahead and respond. Then Muhammad, then Mia.
My HBCU was not in a place where I could go off campus. It was just us. There was no off campus. If we had to go off campus, it was at least an hour away. There were no white professors. There were no Indian professors. It was just us. So it was like, that's not what I'm going to experience once I start teaching in schools.
Right.
And
so,
I went to PWI, and it literally, it was a different experience.
Lord Bell says The conscious goon is coming out in 5, 4, 3, 2. He's talking about Muhammad. He's seen it coming too. I'm laughing.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in right quick as far as like my college experiences. Like, I mean, I grew up in New York City, it's metropolitan, so I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of different walks of life, quote unquote diversity and all that other bullshit. And I went to community college, but one of the reasons why I went to HBCU in the first place was to get away from white people. And funny enough, when I did go to Fisk in Nashville, Tennessee, of all places, it was nothing for me to run into some crackers. It was nothing for me to run into some non-blacks. In fact, Fisk was so big on diversity to the point where they actually started bringing in more people from the international community into Fisk. They started bringing in a lot of Asians. They started bringing in a lot of Anglo-Saxon and Latinos. In fact, there was a white professor that was teaching African studies, and I'm be honest with you, I refused to take that course, and a lot of people was looking at me cross about that shit. They was like, "Hold on, wait, like, why you don't want to take it? Like, it's African history." I say, "You right, it is, but I can't relate to the information that he's conveying." Not saying because well, the reason why I couldn't relate to the information that he was conveying, because this was a white person telling black people's stories. And another thing I also wanted to add too, like, again, I don't care too much for diversity. I'm not saying that it's wrong for me to not be around all walks of life. I've been around all walks of life for as long as I've been living. Again, I've been living in New York City. Hop on the subway, you more than likely you will come across a bunch of Russian people having a conversation. You will come across Japanese having conversations, Koreans having conversations, etc., etc., etc. So I say all that to say that, fuck diversity. And we should maintain our pride. We should definitely be amongst our own. We should learn amongst our own, and we should be trying to help our own. But if some people feel like they have to go to PWIs in order to learn what the quote unquote real world is like, more power to you.
Listen, Mia.
Yeah, no, I was actually agreeing with Muhammad's first point. Like, like, black people go to these prestigious universities for, like, it looks good on the resume according to, like, industry standards, which unfortunately white is always the default, so white standards. And
A
then
status
looping
symbol.
back, yeah. So looping back to what, like, Schoolboy was saying of, like, the Mark Zuckerberg went to Harvard. So if I want to network and I want to build Facebook and, like, creating jobs, right, I need to then be in the room of the people who are creating these jobs to see me, which is unfortunate. I personally went to a HBCU, and I actually had a unique experience where I grew up in Atlanta. So from kindergarten all the way until I graduated college, I was the majority in mostly every room that I'm in, like from the black church to, like, grade school, college. Like, all I saw was black people. And my hint at the real world was my first summer interning for a corporation. I was the only black person in the intern program, and I'm just like, where all the niggas at? And it was a culture shock. But we play on this narrative of and it's not to downplay your experience, because if that was what you needed, then that's what you needed. But I don't think, whether I went to a PWI or a HBCU, I would have come out and landed on my feet, because that's my personality. Like, I didn't have any tools, but I learned as I went. And there, in those intern programs, I ran circles around the people who went to bigger colleges, because I didn't go to a great name on paper, but I had the skill set and the tenacity, and, like, I'm gonna figure it out either way. So that's just my thoughts.
We got some good comments coming in. I want to read some of them. Yo, Lord Vel says, the goon strikes again. I don't know how many people heard it, but I ain't going to repeat what he said, but that's a t-shirt. I'm going to tell you behind the scenes. That's a shirt. We're going to start making some merchandise. Oh boy, I got you. We're going to start making some merchandise, and we're going to get some Muhammad extra call. He going to get his own line of quotes. Virginia Slim says, lack of diversity gives us the coolest monkey in the jungle clothes and blackface Gucci gear. And let me see. Kelso says, I grew up in diversity, so college was hard for me. It was a lot of separation, in my opinion. I didn't relate to any of the groups, just stoners. And you know what? Even in community college that was predominantly of Black and brown, and or African descent, I seen a lot of segregation in there as well. The people from the Caribbean tend to sit in their corner. The quote unquote African Americans. Hold on, there we go. Thank you, Casey. The African Americans who love playing spades was in another corner. You know what I'm saying? What I like to do is I like to bring the groups together, but I feel you on that, Kelso. You know what I mean? Kat says, nice personal opinions and experiences. That's what this panel brings. We have a plethora of people who come to this panel who all are strong, in their own everyday lives, and they bring in their experiences here for us to chop it up and talk about what we can't chop up and talk about with our family, which is the news, right? Some of us don't even want to watch the news. It's so depressing, but when you come here, we report it with a twist. Mills Lane says the best thing college can do is help you network with minds and build a trust that you can get into another setting. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And even though I only went to community college, I built a vast network in that school from people who went there before me and to people who went there after me. And Casey and Muhammad X Shakur can vouch for that. I built a crazy network out of that situation going to that school. Brooklyn Hydro says it's already a half a foot of snow out there. He's not feeling it. He's not feeling it. Good,
I just want to chime in right quick. Like, yo, Logic was a fucking monster when I attended BMCC. Like, I knew he was amazing, but I didn't realize how amazing he was as far as the networking thing was concerned until I actually met him. Because I'm like, all right, cool. This is this. I still technically called you an alum at the end of the day, anyway. So I'm like, all right, cool. This is Logic. He's a filmmaker. Let's see what else that he could bring to the table. And then every time I turn around, like, you either knew somebody or you knew somebody who knew somebody, and then add on to the fact that you had a go-getter attitude about you. I was like, oh, this man is a beast. I need to take something from him, so that way when I branch out and do my own thing, I can see where I can come. I can see what I can do as well. And by taking one or two of your skills and going to FIST, I wound up networking with a lot of brothers and sisters out there, so much so to the point where I'm still in contact with them to this day. And truth be told, they waiting on me. They want to know what's up, Muhammad. Like, what you got going on, so we can do some shit.
Yeah. I will say for Colombia, like, the network is strong. If you want to do business, or even like a lot of hip hop writers came out of there when I was there. You know what I'm saying? And now I do feel like I'm not successful like I should be, but I do have the network out there for the tech field, the music field. So definitely. But you're saying it could happen anywhere. It could happen at Columbia. It could happen at BMCC, because there's talented, hardworking people no matter where you go. But it's all about that networking. Because I had two cousins. One went to UPenn, and the other went to Pitt. So UPenn's an Ivy League school, right? And it, you know what I mean? But all he did was sit at home and work. And now he ain't working at all, but he had great grades in college. And his brother went to Pitt. His brother, you know what I'm saying? His brother socialized, hung out. Now his brother worked for Facebook doing HR, making a lot of money, because social skills and networking is important. So if you're gonna go to college and you're just gonna sit in your room and do the work, you could do that online. You could go to University of Phoenix and get that degree. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really all about meeting lifelong connections and to an extent seeing the world. But for me, going to Ivy League school, that's not reality either. You know what I mean? Right. HBCU might be more of a reality in terms of what the majority of people, both black and white, go through across the world, than going to an Ivy League school, which is a kind of, which rich people here without problems and safety and you know what I mean, and free alcohol and like, even in Colombia, being in the heart of Harlem, like, and this was 90s in the crack era, it was like safe, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they make sure, because you got the richest
your ass is gonna get robbed at that HBCU. No, I shouldn't say that. You're not gonna get robbed. It's definitely the
You
danger
go
is
to the wrong
definitely
part of
present.
Atlanta, or
Definitely
what Howard
present.
used to be.
Yo, salute you. I definitely I work on how I take compliments, you know what I mean? Because I don't take compliments too well all the time. But thank you for co-signing that, Muhammad. And Steve-O went to BMCC as well. And he says I co-signed that. Logic was a beast. Thank you, big brother. I appreciate that,
The
man.
last thing I wanted to interject right quick about community college as well is, granted, you are right to a degree, and usually depends on which community college you go to. It do feel like a branch off of high school, so to speak, meaning that you will encounter a lot of young men and women who really have no idea and no clue what it is that they want to do, which is why some of them go to community colleges in the first place. But also the reason why community colleges sort of kind of feel the way they do is because the energy there is lackadaisical. They don't expect people to honestly stay. That's one. And two, a significant portion of the student body is older men and women. A lot of them either got families, or a lot of them had to drop out and come back to college like 10, 15 years later. And because of their mentality of, I just want to come here, do what I do, and leave, that sort of kind of gives off the impression that, hold on, wait, maybe this is like an offshoot of high school, if that makes sense.
It does. Brooklyn Honcho says I went to Kingsborough Community. I actually almost went there, Brooklyn Honcho. I almost went there. And salute to the homies that I built with. My organization had some people that was in Kingsborough as well. When I was in school, I created my own organization. Hence why they calling me a beast as well. And yeah, salute to my homie Cato Cash. You know what I'm saying? Went to Kingsborough. So actually, fun fact, Brooklyn Honcho. Mr. Motherfucker Esquire went to Kingsborough Community College as well. So that's your
And shout out to Mega Evers, like, because I've been there, and I go to, I see the literary program, and I see them. That's I don't know if that would be considered a community college, but I see a lot of really passionate teachers there, Black teachers who might not get a chance to teach at the PWI. You know what I'm saying? And they put on a lot of great cultural events. And from what I've seen, the students they're great. So yeah, it's and I feel like an institution where you have almost a community college / HBCU vibe from Mega Evers, I would say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. And salute to also the homie Q Butter, who went to BMCC with me, who now has his own school in the heart of Brooklyn and online all over the country for black young black children. And he also went to Mega Evers after. And also he met up with Victorious, our homie who did Storm Over Brooklyn, who went to Mega Evers, as well as Morehouse before Mega Evers. Went to Morehouse with schoolboys.
Yeah, I saw him posting some pictures about it and talking about what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cat Bryan says higher education and educational systems overall is a business. That's a fact. And Virginia Slim makes a point that Casey made earlier. He said learning a skilled trade gives young people a better chance at making steady money versus pursuing a 4-year degree. And
go
ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to comment on that one, and also in reference to what Brother Casey had pointed out, which is that a significant portion of us, if not all of us, should definitely get a trade, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. In fact, when I transferred to FIS, I wound up meeting a Tuskegee alum, and he said straight up, "Yo, brother, I think you would have done well at Tuskegee." And I'm not gonna lie, if I had listened to him and actually transferred out to Tuskegee, I think I probably would have graduated. And I'm not going to say I would have succeeded more, but I honestly think I would have done a little bit better as far as my academics is concerned, because Tuskegee I ain't gonna say prior to, but given its history, they not only, subscribe to an academic form of education, but they also subscribe to a vocational form of education there too. So you can go there and you can get your business degree, but you can also get a certificate in carpenting, you can get a certificate in plumbing, basic stuff like that. And I'm just telling you what I heard and the research that I've done. So don't take my word for it. I'd rather, other people look into it. But yeah, I say all that to say that I agree that a lot of us should definitely, come forth for the trade and whatnot. And also, I have a few trades under my belt as well. I'm a certified custodian. I'm well adept in the carpentry industry, and I'm also well adept in the plumbing industry as well.
So with also Casey, you said something earlier, like you said something that I don't want you to claim on this show. You said you're not as successful as you can be, or something like that. You said something like that.
Right.
We're
I
not
mean,
going.
in terms
We're
of,
not.
I
Let
feel
me shut his mic off. Let me shut Casey's mic off. We're not going to accept that up here. All right, Casey? We're not going to accept that. You haven't done your greatest works yet? Sure. But are you successful? Sure. And I want to segue that into one of the comments earlier that I missed. That Casey is on the Black Mountain. For sure. All right. So, you know what I mean?
I feel great in terms of the influence I have, and I'm happy. I feel the money is there. You know what I mean? I feel financially, I like to be better off. Who wouldn't? You know what I'm saying? I definitely been blessed to be able to influence the world through music, journalism, all that, and I'm blessed to have that. But you know, it's to the point where, like, so I had one of the other choices I had. I could have went to FAMU. And they had it was just a business program, and they were just going to teach you how to be a businessman, put you on that business school track. You know what I mean? And I just wasn't ready to commit to a profession at 18 like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I could go to Columbia, find out. I really wanted to be a rapper, so I'm like, let me go to New York, and that was my goal. Like, it seems a crazy, stupid waste of money, spending all this money to go to New York and be a rapper, but.
Your connections from your school is they've done a lot too. I've seen people in your network, like you've seen people in mine via our college networks. So everything you do is works for the greater good. I think that goes for all of us, no matter what it is. But Virginia Slim has a question for Mika before we move on. Mika, did you encounter covert racism while attending that PWI? That question's for Mika. Your mic is on Teddy Riley, Mika. And then you froze.
That connection is terrible, Mika.
Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Okay, when she gets to unmute it, she will answer the question. There you go. There you go. There we go. Those are the headsets we need. And you're on mute again. So unmute it one more time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, way better. Definitely
me?
use. Yes, perfect. Use
Okay.
headphones. Headphones are wise every time. Go ahead.
All right. So I definitely experienced a lot of racism at the PWI. And that's why I say that it kind of showed me how to deal with it in a different way. Because even my first time doing my practicum, which is where you have to student teach at a school in the neighborhood where your college is. And this white boy, little white kid, he definitely looked me dead in my face and was just like, my mama said, I ain't got to listen to you, nigger. And he was like 7, and I had to suck that up. But it definitely taught me that, okay, maybe this isn't where I want to teach. It taught me a lot, and it taught me about programs like Teach for America, where I can be effective in Black communities around, my neighborhood. But the covert racism is something that you will experience, but you're also going to experience that once you get into the real world. So it kind of prepared me for that a little younger, having gone to only Black schools and having been around only Black people, having gone to only all Black churches. Everything in my life was about being around the African diaspora before I went to a PWI. So going to that PWI kind of like it pushed me and it taught me a lot very early, very fast. And the racism,
No, I just wanted to ask you a quick question right quick. Did even though you grew up within the African diaspora, so to speak, did the elders actually prepare you for what's to come, or they just pat you on the back and said good luck?
They just filled us with all of this knowledge of Black history. So they made sure we knew we were great and then patted us on the back and was like, all right, now go off into the world. But they did not let us know, hey, when you get into the world, no one's going to like you because of your skin color. They just gave us the history like we were great, we were kings, we were queens, we were royalty.
know your knowledge, know where you come from, know your Black history, and then go off into the world with all this Black knowledge. And then all of these white people are like, no one cares.
Right.
The
No one
reason
cares
why
that you
I
were
asked
royalty before here.
the reason why I asked this question, because I think us as adults now, we sometimes don't prepare our children for what's to come out in the quote unquote real world. Like, yeah, some of us do have the necessary knowledge to, instill a strong sense of African self, if that makes sense. But unfortunately, some of us really don't give us the cold hard facts, which is that, like you said, we're going to encounter some people that's not going to like us because of the color of our skin, and to a degree, they're not going to like us because of what it is that they've been socialized to believe. And I think if more Black people take the time to educate their children and properly raise their children and let them know what's really to come, then, by the time we do reach of age and we get out there, I'm not saying that we can just stomach it and just go about our business, but we'll know how to combat it and we'll know how to handle those type of situations. And in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I encouraging our people to do the same shit that the brothers and sisters did back then during the civil rights movement, where, brothers and sisters was puffing cigarettes and blowing smoke in your face and whatnot.
So Virginia Sim says that kid would have caught a swift kick to the face. Lovell says, I would have told that little boy that he was born a monkey with a tail and walked away. I wanted to read this comment before I read the next question. Precious says, welcome back, y'all. I miss watching y'all while y'all were gone. Keep pushing. I fuck with the channel. Salute to y'all. Salute to you, Pressure. I'm really happy that you're back on the check-in. And we miss being here, you know what I mean? But the break was imperative for us to get our shit together and come back, sharp. But thank you. I really appreciate your kind words. Redemption is laughing. Brooklyn Honcho had a comment, and Mika has to go soon, as do some other people on the channel. On the panel. So I do want to get to the last article of the day, but I'm going to, Brooklyn Honcho asks this question: how much do you feel that choosing the school enhances quality in future? So I'm just going to say, first and foremost, I think that you can make it happen no matter where you go. But if you go to a school with more resources, then there's more resources to pimp. I believe in pimping the system. And I also want to say this in regards to what brung us on this down this rabbit hole, which is what Biden didn't realize he was saying when he wanted to say community colleges should be free and the Ivy Leagues and all the other schools, they should pay. What he's probably underestimating is how many white people will go to free school versus a name. Because there are even white people who go to HBCUs, right? So just because they'll get resources out of it. So I believe there are white people that will go to a free community college as well. But I'm gonna give the panel a chance to answer this question, and then we're gonna let Casey break down his article on Rush Limbaugh, who just recently passed away, before we get up out of here. Starting with you, Muhammad. How much do you feel that choosing the school enhances your quality of your future, Muhammad?
Honestly, I want to say it sort of kind of dependent for me. I mean, it depends for me, because I actually didn't choose BMCC. BMCC chose me. All I know was I was actually in the process of aging out of the foster care system, and they would ask me did I want to go to college. I said, yeah, sure, why not? By then, I had already obtained my my certifications, and I was like, all right, cool, fine, bet, let's see where this go. And as I referenced a few minutes ago, my only, not so much regret, but I'm gonna say the mistake that I made was staying loyal to certain schools, because if it wasn't working for me, I should have just left. BMCC, not saying that it didn't work for me, but it just didn't feel right to be there. And truth be told, I should have transferred to a different HBCU, different community college, just like when I transferred out to FIST. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful that I have gone to a HBCU, and I'm also grateful because it had expanded my mind upon a plethora of HBCUs. Like, for example, Mary McLeod Bethune. I didn't know that she had started her own school specifically for women, and then she got in contact with with Mr. Cookman and created Bethune-Cookman. I did not know that Booker T. Washington had started his own school. Originally, it started as a school for Black people of all ages, and then it transcended into a HBCU. So, wait, how much do you feel that like I say, it really more so depends. And again, you also got to factor in the mindset of you have to factor in the mindset. I did not go to school with an African-centered mindset. So when I did set foot in college, I was like, okay, so why the hell am I here? What am I going to gain from this? Yeah, I've learned some great things about the law. Yeah, I've learned some things about business. And then when I transferred to FIS, I've learned about the liberal arts program. I've learned a lot about politics, but I really did not know what to do with it, if that makes sense.
Copy. Mika, you want to answer that question before you get up out of here? I know you got to teach a class soon.
Yes, I do. I definitely have a class to teach in like 4 minutes. But choosing the school does enhance your quality of the future, because when you choose your school, you're choosing the school based on what you feel you want to go into in life. So if you want to go into law, choose a school that has a great law program like Medgar Evers. If you want to go into education, choose a school like I did. That's why I transferred, because SUNY Oswego had a way better education program. If you want to go, choosing your school does enhance the quality of your future, as long as you're choosing your school for the right reasons. Base it on your major, base it on the things that you are really, really passionate about if they have great programs there. Don't just choose a school for a name. Because choosing a school for a name will have you somewhere 4 years, bored, angry, and aggravated. So choose a school
If you
survive those 4 years. Because if you don't like the school that first year, you're going to transfer. You're going to transfer or you're going to drop out.
Right.
Kanye didn't write the album College Dropout for no reason. It happens. People drop out because they don't like college. So choose a school that you really, really are passionate about, that has programs that really speak to you, and it will enhance your future. But if you don't, then if you don't know what you want to do, then do go to community college and figure it out.
Right. Mika, I love and miss you. Call me later today.
I will.
Have a great
you guys.
Bye, Mika.
Bye.
Thank you.
It was nice finally really meeting you.
Take
care.
Boy.
I'm a fan.
Good to meet you too. Nah, so just so you know, that wasn't a personal attack on you, and I don't want nobody coming at you no kind of way. But I just have an opinion on that subject. You know what I mean?
And with that being said, Schoolboy, you can answer the question. But Mika, thank you again. I will be in touch later today, right?
Okay, bye guys. Thanks again.
Peace. So, choosing the school enhances your quality in this way. Like I think everybody else was kind of saying, the passion has to be there. You have to have some internal driver that, regardless of the location, you're going to be successful. So you can go to Columbia, you can go to Morehouse, you can go to FIS, you can go to a community college around the country and be an absolute fucking failure. All right, like we all know people who went to school with us, have the same loans we have, and cannot find a way to get their shit together. It just is what it is.
Right.
So figuring out. So one of the things that I think I wish I would have done, and I have an experience like you were talking about, Casey, where they had this white person, or not Casey, but Muhammad, where they had this white person teaching us African politics. Let me just go off on that tangent real quick.
Do your thing. This is the rant.
This white lady was teaching African politics, and there were a lot of coons at this school that I went to. So these coons was like up her ass and around the corner and really happy about the fact that she was there, you know. But she came into the classroom, we learned African politics. She gave us a map with Egypt excised from the map and said, well, that's politically and socially a part of the Middle East. So in this African politics class, we're not going to talk about Egypt. But when you take a beginner 101 history class from grade school all the way up, where do they first start government? They first start the actual idea of government in Egypt. So why the hell would we talk about African politics and not talk about Egypt? It makes absolutely no sense. This same teacher brought the book Babar into a 300 level politics class. African politics. Babar, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Babar. You remember the story about Babar, the fucking elephants? It's a children's book.
Yeah.
Yo, after that, no, you know what it was? It was this comment right here. This is around the time that the Sudanese Civil War is going on. She told a room full of black men at Morehouse that the Sudanese Civil War was between Africans and Arabs. And I raised my hand. Redemption, no, that professor's not there anymore, thank God. And I raised my hand and I said, if it's a Sudanese Civil War, wouldn't that mean that the combatants on both sides are African because they're both Sudanese? And she said, yeah, but no, not really. You know that bullshit when somebody says yes but no. Yeah, okay. So she said, yeah, no, but the thing about it is that they're Arabs. And I said, okay, are they Arabs because they speak Arabic, or are they Arabs because they're from Saudi Arabia? But either way, they live in Sudan and they have She said, well, she would always start giggling and shit, and all the little coons around would start giggling and shit too. And they'd be like, okay, well. She told me, you find empirical evidence and then we can have this conversation. Nigga, I went off. I went on the internet and I found an article from the University of Khartoum, which is the capital of Sudan, I believe it is. They basically were talking about how they did a genealogy study of all the combatants in the Sudanese Civil War. And what they found was all the combatants in the obvious Sudanese Civil War were genetically African. No
Right.
fucking shit, right? It's an African Civil War. So, the long story short, this article was 100 pages. I put 10 pages ahead of it, basically telling her, I think you should go right back to Texas and teach some white people this shit, because you teaching this at Morehouse doesn't help us. We don't need you coming here for a stepping stone and then teaching BS in the classroom. You know what I mean? Like, you're unqualified to sit here and teach about African politics if you can't even surmise how not to bring a children's book into the classroom and be telling us about damn Babar. Fam, get the hell out of here. We don't need your fucking kind here. And she was a fat bitch too. Fat as fuck. And she had a small sports car. I just wanted to say that part too.
Oh man, Blue Label Multimedia says good morning and salute to the Ranters Union, Logic and Schoolboy. Salute to you, big homie. Salute. Glad you're gonna check it. I'm gonna give you a chance to answer the question, and then we're gonna let Casey. Me and Redemption Song 76 are eager to kind of hear Casey's feedback on Rush Limbaugh. So
one last thing. I'm sorry to cut you off on that one. This is the part that I almost forgot to tell you guys. She gave me an F in that class because I told her after I sent her that email, she kept saying, well, come to my office and let's talk about it. I went to her office a few times for a couple weeks in a row, and she wouldn't she wouldn't let me in. And then she finally opens up the door and she in there crying and shit. I can't talk about this, right? All right. Long story short, I stand by everything I said in that shit. She faded me for that class. I got an F. I got an F in that class. And then I took the same class with an actual African professor at another campus and got a fucking A. That lady is shit. And I hope the people I went to school with kiss my ass. When you talk about that lady and talk about her and give her... Listen, when you talk about that lady and you give her praises for being a good teacher, you should really take that trigger and pull it. You know what I'm saying? You need to do that to yourself because you're wilding. That lady wasn't shit.
Well, shit. Mia, you want to answer that question before we get to Casey's commentary? Last story.
Yeah, I think it's portion like enhances a bit, but there also is a mixture, like a recipe. So you can have all of the allowances and advances and access that you want, but if you're lazy or you just don't apply yourself, case in point, all those white girls that their parents were like pushing, getting paid, like paying their institutions to send them to these great schools, and they still weren't successful academically because they didn't want to be there, versus someone like me. I didn't go to a bigger school, but I still was able to find my way to the success that I wanted and still working towards it because I had it in the mindset like this is what I'm going to be. And winners, I think I've said this before, but winners win. Like, I let the losers worry about losing. Like, they're going to continue to lose and find an excuse to lose. But if you want it, it doesn't matter if you go to a community college or Harvard or Oxford or whatever. Like, you'll figure it out.
All right, no doubt. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody. And now for In conclusion, but not last but not least, we want to talk about obviously, or not obviously, some of you may know, some of you may not know that Rush Limbaugh had passed away. We got people in the comments saying, fuck Rush Limbaugh, but they're here for Casey's commentary. So, Casey, I have your article here. Do you want me to read some of it, or how do you want to do this? How do you want to play this?
Let me frame it, and then we can pull it up, and then I could kind of put it in some context.
There's a couple videos in the article as well, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
So 2008, I started working for a black news site called News One, becoming like a writer, editor, and so this was like Obama election year. I was, Obama was a light-skinned biracial dude who went to Columbia. He had swag. I liked him at the time. I was an Obama fan. I was a cheerleader, you could say. So I felt like anyone who was coming at Obama, especially on a racial level, had to get it, and I had to expose them. And I felt at the time I was in a state of mind where I felt like, the Democrats was good. They was the good guys, and the right wing Republicans was the bad guys. And I was right about the Republicans. I just wasn't right about the Democrats. So I was just researching all this dude's quotes, all his racism, because honestly, like some of it's like Archie Bunker funny, except for the fact he got like a lot of low intelligence fans out there who really take on the racism, and that's one of the big problems. Things is kind of divide and conquer. His racism makes poor white people think that black people are their problems, not the government. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I wrote an article, Top 10 Racist Rush Limbaugh Quotes, and she kind of went viral. And then when he was trying to buy the all the NFL players and all the black people in the media, they were just Googling it, and they was pulling up that article, and they was talking about ESPN. So like Bomani Jones called me, I had to talk with him. I got a cease and desist letter from Rush Limbaugh, and I said, fuck you, I ain't ceasing and desisting nothing. I'm gonna keep doing my thing. And yeah, so that was a frame of mind back then. It was kind of like a culture war, and it was a lot of racism, mean-spirited shit about Martin Luther King, like just shit that really helps to divide and conquer, and really there's really nasty shit against black people, playing against stereotypes, just nasty shit, man. And it's funny because he was on the Breakfast Club like a few months before he died too, trying to make some sort of peace, but I couldn't really see it.
All right. With that being said, the synopsis is your article is called "Rush Limbaugh's Most Racist Quotes: A Timeline of Destructive Commentary." So there are a couple videos in it, and we're going to play it, and I'm going to read some of the quotes that don't have audios to it. Thank you for creating this article, Casey. And there are a lot of people who are not fin to tribute this dude in his death. Now, the black people not finna play with him. You know what I mean? Hence the black.
Like, the white people pay tribute to Bin Laden, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Burning out, that's how they treated him.
Right, and I'm not saying it's wrong neither. I'm just saying it is what it is. But there are going to be people that act like they don't know where this anger or disrespect is coming from, and it's because he been disrespecting black people for years. So people got to, you die and by what you live by. You know what I'm saying? So just because you dead don't mean you don't have a legacy, and if your legacy is shit, then that's just what it is. So we're going to go over Rush Limbaugh's legacy as I guess a shock jock, you can call him or whatever, but a racist one. And this is Rush Limbaugh's Most Racist Quotes: A Timeline of Destructive Commentary. So this article comes to us from Mighty Casey and TV One. So let me play this video that's in this joint. All right. Let me see. Okay, my phone. All right, so they actually not. This is not audio right here, so I might as well read some of this. So the conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh said Monday that his lung cancer is terminal. Right. So this is what we know. But let's get to He made an announcement about his death sentence on his radio show more than 10 months after he first went public about his late stages of illness. So he died from cancer, Casey?
Yeah, lung cancer.
Okay. 69, say he intended to seek treatment for the cancer. All right. Treatment was ineffective as he hoped. Okay, so a lot of this is just, they're just talking about his death. So we're going to get to the quotes. There's some audio in this this article. Here's one of them. All right. So let's play this. Here we go.
Zero class. What kind of class is that? Zero class. Meanwhile, Al Sharpton goes out the front door. Yes, I spoke a little Negro dialect there. I can do that when I want to. Al Sharpton goes out and in the front door. In and out the front door.
Negro dialect. So I guess that's you threw that in there first, right, Casey? So I'm gonna read some of your article really quick, Casey. Let me see. And you wrote all of this, right? Conservative talk.
They added to it. I made the original article, and they kept on adding to it.
So basically,
all the quotes is mine.
All right, all the quotes with you. All right, cool. All right, so let me get to the quotes. All right, let me get to the quotes then. And I don't think I need to keep the quotes on the screen, but yeah. Kelso said Negro dialect. Nah, son. HB2, what up, nigga? And Brooke Andre said, I'm surprised he made the 70. All right, so I'm gonna read the quotes, y'all. I'm gonna read the quotes from racist.
He was on them pills too, and he has cigars, so yeah, he's
all right. So quote number 1, all right, as quoted by Casey, as documented by Casey. Quote number 1. Have you ever noticed how all composite pictures of wanted criminals resemble Jesse Jackson? Yo, yikes.
And I never seen that.
I never seen that neither.
I never seen no criminal look like Jesse Jackson.
Never. I've never seen that.
Maybe Uncle Murder or something like that. Not Jesse Jackson.
Never seen it. All right. Quote number 2. Right. So you hold on. So you go into Darfur and you go into South Africa. You get rid of the white government there. You put sanctions on them. You stand behind Nelson Mandela, who bankrolled by communities, by communists for a time, had the support of certain communist leaders. You go to Ethiopia, you do the same thing. So basically, he's attacking people in Africa for actually having power in their own fucking countries.
And it's a common like racist trope they did with Martin Luther King. They were trying to say, oh, he's a communist to kind of like dismiss his own legitimate struggle against racism. They say, oh, he's a communist because he wants equality for black people.
They did the same thing to Paul Robeson.
Yeah. Paul Robeson went to Russia. Paul Robeson was a communist. He was about it.
Hey, it doesn't matter. But that's the thing. This is America. You can be a communist.
Exactly.
You can be an insurrectionist.
Paul Robeson was a G. Paul Robeson was a legend in 5 games more than people. He was a brilliant singer, brilliant actor, a lawyer, a brilliant writer, orator, an amazing voice. Yep.
And spoke 15 languages and thought in 18.
Yep. And he went to he has an amazing concert. Like he went to Russia, and this is one of my things about all black people. Be like, oh, the Russians. But like, it's the white American government that been on your neck. The Russians was trying to help niggas out during the civil rights era. You know what I mean? Like,
all right. So quote number 3. Look, let me put it this way. The NFL all too often looks like a game between the Bloods and the Crips without any weapons. There, I said it.
Yo, like I see Tom Brady, I see Rob Gronkowski, and then I see African Americans who don't look like Bloods and Crips. I mean, Deshaun Jackson's the only one I ever seen throw up anything. I don't know what Russia's watching.
Yo, this.
So let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest.
Let's go.
He's probably right on that shit. He's probably right on that shit because
on the Bloods and Crips looking at the
not back then when he said it. They wasn't throwing signs back then.
I'm just saying this, that when you look at it, it's just a bunch of black people, and the white people that are there, you can tell that they just cool with black people. That's why like the games are kind of good.
But why would you say they look like a bunch of civil rights leaders? Like, why would you have to, like, if I'm watching hockey and I'm saying, oh, I watch a hockey game and it look like a big KKK rally, like why are they, just because they're white, they gotta be racist?
But it does though. It definitely looks like a KKK rally. It's only one black person there, and they're beating his ass. Like,
I'm not thinking. Maybe you think of it like that. No, I see the black dude. That black dude's nice. He's undercover NHL. I don't think of it as a. You know what I mean? I'm not watching a golf game like, oh shit, the Klans out there, or they're all criminals. Even criminals, bro. It's like
I'm just saying, like when I watch the NFL, it's a physical game. I know, like. We're killing that shit. It's a physical game, man. It's a fight out there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but you're taking professional black men, right, who are making a living and legally and being one of the few examples of successful black
playing
men.
a damn football game.
I
mean, come on.
They're making money. They're making money, right?
One mic. Mohammed, sit up a little bit if you don't mind. Try to stay that way because when I put the comments up, it kind of covers you. Go ahead, Casey.
I'm saying that he's connecting. You can say like NFL isn't they're professional football players. These guys have went to college. These guys have worked very hard to have these careers. Some of them might not be perfect, but comparing one of the few examples of black success that people see in the media to the lowest form of criminals is racist, and especially in the context of he's not talking to us, he's talking to white Americans who don't know black people, have no contact, and he's just saying that all black people, basically, by saying that black football players, right, are Bloods and Crips.
Also, don't want contact with black people too.
Yeah, that's a fact. And you know what? Let's go a little bit further. And I understand where Schoolboy is coming from. Yeah, look, you can tell that it's mostly black people on the field. But let's not act like even the media doesn't demonize us so much that sometimes we even scared of our own. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't travel outside your community and all you see about black people is what the media shows you about black people, you like, I'm not going to fucking Brooklyn because I'm from Queens, or I'm not going to the Bronx or whatever. I'm not going, you know what I mean? Because you think as soon as you go to some other hood, it's only going to be this crazy stereotype. And that keeps us oppressed too, because we can't connect. You know what I'm saying? We can't network, like how we was talking about how powerful it is to network by going to colleges and all that. You can't do that shit. You know what I mean?
That's because we don't control the narrative. That's really what it all boiled down to. Like, if we honestly took it, like right now, this is the perfect time for us to seize control of the narrative. And I say this because we have a plethora of writers. We have a plethora of creators, directors, artists, actors, musicians. We literally have all these things all these resources at our disposal. But unfortunately, majority of us rather work for white people. And for the ones that actually do want to work for black people and actually are working for black people, unfortunately, we can't get the necessary support.
Right. Cat Bryant says divide tactics. Miss Ravioli says he's missed out on knowledge of the 102 minerals by dismissing the melanated dominant people. So I guess he wasn't fucking. I guess he wasn't fucking with CMOS, huh, Miss Ravioli? Mills Lane says NFL wisely blocked Rush from having a football team. And HB2N says there is a lot of gang affiliations in pro sports, though. That I'm not going to deny. But at the same time, we know what he was basically saying. You know what I mean? He's basically demonizing black folks, right? So we're going to move on to quote number 4. Damn, we only on number 4, man. And the NAACP should have riot rehearsal. They should get a liquor license and practice robberies. This nigga, this nigga was.
Like, has he been to an NAACP meeting? Those are the most squarest, positive, corniest, unlittest, no partying, no liquor.
Yo, Tom be up in that bitch with his wife.
No. Like NAACP meeting? Nah, he ain't even saying like Panthers or like a rap group. He's saying NAACP, bro. Like is that? If you think the NAACP is throwing riots and you know what I mean, and liquors, you got to be
and robbing niggas.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think he said that purposefully because let's be honest, this is Rush Limbaugh. He has connections, so I'm fairly certain that man is smart enough to know that white people was funding the NAACP, specifically the Jews. But that's a whole nother conversation of itself.
And even the people he goes after, like Al Sharpton and Obama, they're also being funded by white people. Like Al Sharpton is also funded by the FBI. Al Sharpton is informant, a rat. He's working with the same because this is divide and conquer. So like if one thing I learned is like Rachel Maddow was best friends with the dude from that Bombshell movie, Roger Ailes, who's the sexual harasser, the head of Fox News, who created all their racist programming, all their sexist programming, was best friends with Rachel Maddow and her progressive lesbian feminism. So Al Sharpton and Limbaugh, they had like it was some skit, like they was the same person. Even on the Boondocks, remember you see how like the Sharpton character be so friendly with the fake Ann Coulter character because they play the same divide and conquer game. Like Al Sharpton. That's why he's going after Al Sharpton and Obama. You know what I mean? He's going after people in that WWE political world where they control all the characters. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Bell says nobody didn't run up on Rush Limbaugh when he was alive? Question mark. That question's for you, Casey. Have you heard of anything of people running up on him, anything like that?
Yeah.
You said no. Go ahead, Casey. You said no.
Not that I know about, and I think he was even recording in New York for a while.
This is the thing, Louisville. I noticed that, especially when I travel to different communities and all that. There's two worlds everywhere. And if you can stay out of a certain world or a certain element, out of certain neighborhoods, you're not in the same world. Sometimes even you could be on the same street and be in two different worlds. Perfect example. Right now, Franklin Avenue in Brooklyn. If you're a white person going to the sushi bar on Franklin Avenue, you know what I'm saying? You're safe. You're chilling. But if you're a dude who grew up in Franklin Avenue, had beef on Franklin Avenue, and see another dude you know what I'm saying? Like it's two different worlds. So, and unfortunately, we don't hold people who disrespect us accountable to the same things we hold ourselves to each other to when it comes to disrespect. So if Muhammad disrespects me, we can fight. We can fight. It could lead to whatever's going to lead to. Don't you disrespect me, yada, yada, yada. But if a motherfucker, a white dude disrespect me on a national scale, I'm going to just take that. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking specifically for real about me and Muhammad. Obviously, I'm speaking in general. But that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We let them disrespect us, but we ain't taking no shit from each other. Which is why you can't convince me that we the hardened criminals that they say we are. If you ask me, there's a lot of us out here that's just pussy. Let's just keep it real. We only willing to kill each other. And that even goes for the conscious community too.
I agree.
Let me finish. You got
out like that. That's why you have music about black people killing each other.
Hold on. You even got motherfuckers in the conscious community that they can only focus on banging on each other, but they supposed to be the conscious community. Go ahead, Muhammad.
No, I was going to say, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And unfortunately, that ties all the way back to, what the shit that had happened on the plantation, unfortunately. And it plays out even until today. Collectively, we have a lot of self-hatred issues going on. A lot of us collectively don't love each other. We don't respect each other. We don't give a damn about each other, even when it boils down to our children. And I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I can't count how many times that I've read so many articles of Black parents being lackadaisical when it comes to their own children. For example, there was this article that I read about a year or so ago where this brother, he was sending his daughter to a predominantly white school. They lost his daughter 3 times. I'm gonna be honest with you. After the first time, I'd have raised hell, but come on, 2 more times, something's not right.
So we're going to address this comment, especially after we read this, but I'm just going to throw this in the air. Virginia Sims says, Rush was not saying shit for the hell of it. Rush was just saying shit for the hell of it and playing into his base. None of these quotes should be taken serious, doing his job as a shock jock, but he's not also caping for him. He's saying rest in peace. Answer that at the end of all of the quotes because we can talk about that. That's a great way to wrap it up. Lord Bell, God made Muhammad depressed, bringing up Franklin Avenue. Mills Lane says Rush knew how to talk to his audience. They're not really known to always be scholastically virtuous. Redemption says Slim, he had a huge following though. His commentary was designed to inflame tension and keep white folks on cold. Ms. Ravioli says lackadaisical. And HB Twin said this why sometimes a lot of truth is said by these racist pundits. And salute to Keenan Kong who's on the check-in. So let's go back to the top 10 racist quotes as documented by Casey Gain. Quote number 5. They're 12% of the population. Who the hell cares? I definitely think a lot of people feel that way. Who the hell cares, right? Quote number 6 to an African-American female caller, he says, and I quote, "Take that bone out of your nose and call me back." Hey, yo, this nigga was tripping. All right, quote number 7. I think the media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well. They're interested in black coaches and black quarterbacks doing well. I think there's a little hope invested in McNabb, and he's got a lot of credit for the performance of his team that he really didn't deserve. That one isn't the craziest shit out of all of this, but it made the cut. Is documented by Casey. You want to let us know why that one made the cut?
I actually wrote a few other articles about kind of the stigmas around black quarterbacks, and there are certain stigmas in sports that kind of perpetuate racism and on a kind of deeper level. And obviously this isn't as blatant as it is, but kind of the role of the black person not being intelligent, not having the leadership abilities, not having the kind of presence to play quarterback has been a long-standing racist trope. And even when you do get 80% of the NFL being African American, you still might only to recent years 10% being quarterbacks. And this kind of when him kind of going in and McNabb, and eventually I guess it kind of fit too when he tried to buy the football team to kind of see that. But that was a light one. But I think it definitely.
I'm thank you for your answer because that makes sense though. That makes sense. I'm glad.
I just wanted to chime in right quick. That comment also kind of put me in the mind of Michael Vick, who unfortunately was convicted for dogfighting. And, it's unfortunate, but a lot of people still don't necessarily know the full details behind that entire situation, which is, one, he actually wasn't dogfighting. It was his family members that was living with him. And two, he took the brunt of this situation. So even though a lot of people like to try to say, he's cruel to animals and whatnot, by association he is, but he had no stake in the dogfighting business.
Copy that. Mills Lane, I got your donation, and I will adhere to your request, which is to split it up. Thank you, Mills Lane, for your donation. We really appreciate you here at the Morning Rant. This next one is kind of like a paragraph or two detailing how he came at Obama. So I'm going to skim through it, but the comments that were quoted that are highlighted in it was Limbaugh called Obama a African American. Also called him an affirmative action candidate, and also Barack the Magic Negro. I don't think I have to read the whole article, correct, Casey? You want to elaborate?
No.
All right, cool. And quote number 9, we need segregated buses. This is Obama's America. The one thing I want to say about the bus situation, I find it ironic that it's cool to sit in the back of the bus now after we had to fight to sit in the front. It's kind of, I don't know. Has anybody ever noticed that growing up? I know in my hood growing up.
I mean, that's you're further away from the bus driver, so you can do more trouble. As a kid, you know what I mean?
Kid, right.
Even earlier than that,
don't want to be in the back.
Even earlier than that, when we used to sit on the back of the bus, whenever we would go over the speed bumps in the complex, that's where you could get the jumps. Like, we would be jumping all over the back of that bus. I'm just saying.
HB Toy say he agrees with all 3 Obama statements.
And the joke I wanted to point out too about the whole back of the bus situation is a lot of people don't really realize how peaceful it is to sit on the back of the bus. Like I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with sitting in the front of the bus or anything of that nature, because shit, if you got an available seat, why not take it? But to sit on the back of the bus, sometimes people don't really want to be bothered. And if you notice, for some people who actually do take public transportation, a lot of people just be in their own world in the back of the bus. But when they're in the front, it's like, okay, maybe I need to be a little bit more aware of what's going on, if that makes sense.
My man Virginia Slim comes with the point that I need to hear. That's freedom of choice to sit where we want. That makes sense. Mills Lane says the right to sit in the front. Exactly. Thank you for that. And quote number 10. Obama's entire economic program is reparations. So, like you said, you were in past tense an Obama fan. So
Right.
took a lot of the things he said against Obama personal as well. But he also got at other people, right? So there's some other quotes here that says, I mean, let's face it. If we didn't have slavery in this country for over 100 years because it was a bad thing, quite the opposite. Slavery built the South. I'm not saying we should bring it back. I'm just saying it's had its merits. For one thing, the streets were safer after dark. Wow. That right there. You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
if he would have said something about the Holocaust, like, yeah, at least you could get a loan or something during the Holocaust, he would have been, Ray would have killed him.
That shit is ridiculous, though. Yeah. But
hey, by the way, since we're kind of on the topic of civil rights and whatnot, just remember Herschel Walker said that black people don't need reparations yesterday. All right, continue.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, quote number 2. You know who deserves posthumous humus? How am I saying?
Posthumous
Medal of Honor, James Earl Ray, the confessed assassin of Martin Luther King. We miss you, James. Godspeed.
James Earl Ray did not kill MLK. I didn't know that back then.
He didn't. He didn't.
James Earl Ray was a patsy set up. So again, Limbau's kind of fitting into the kind of whole political WWE and that same narrative, because it was the government, not the white supremacists, who killed MLK. It was the same people who was trying to set up Fred Hampton, got MLK too.
And that is correct. And the Kings actually proved it in a civil suit, I want to say around 99, 2000. Also, the
Messiah. And I think Jesse Jackson might have been one of the Judases around MLK. And I saw a quote the other day, and it was, he says, there will never be a black Messiah until we make one. So that's why you get these Al Sharptons and Obamas, who, definitely roots with their government connections and backings. And
yes. And the last thing I wanted to point out was it was actually a doctor who was responsible for his murder. What happened was when it was all said and done, MLK, he got blasted, unfortunately, but he was still very much alive. Yeah. And the doctor who was his primary caregiver, he was like, "Oh nah, this nigga gotta go." So he actually spat on his face before he
shout out to StepGotJokes.
What's the word? Suffocated him.
Sorry to interrupt. I jumped the gun. Shout out to StepGotJokes, because that was actually a question which I got somewhat wrong.
On Trash Bar.
Yeah, on Trash Bars. He was suffocated after. If you really read the whole story.
All right, HB Tour said he'd rather get revenge than reparations. I'm done reading the quotes. Rush Limbaugh, your legacy is shit. You know what I mean? I think it's different, but as someone who's in, I work with shock jocks. I produce shows with crazy content. I give crazy content even at times on this show. Casey and I made a movie that was real crazy and risky, but at the same time, it's always a subtext, is an underlying subtext. So we have fun, but it's always an underlying subtext that involves our people, the empowerment of our people, right? So I say that to say this: I don't think black people should be held under the same PC microscope as white folks, right? Because we don't have the systematic power to enact those things that we're saying, those mind states, you know what I mean? So like, for example, he could tell a gang of white people that we're criminals, and then they can go in the street and gun down a young black man, or a young black woman, because they just see criminal, right? Whereas we don't have that, quote, I say this for lack of better words, luxury. to go just see a white guy and say, that guy's probably a fucking white supremacist. Let me kill this dude and say, well, I was scared for my life and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we should be held by those same standards when it comes to the PC thing. But I want to say his subtext was full of hate, disrespect for our culture. And I know I have no respect for the man. Brooklyn Honcho wants to ask this question to you guys. In closing, how do you guys feel about Chad Wheeler's situation? And I'm gonna start with Casey because I'm sure Casey is fully informed on this, because I am not.
The Chad Wheeler thing. I mean, would people have cared if his girlfriend was white?
What is the Chad Wheeler thing, Casey?
Chad Wheeler, it was a white NFL player beat up his black girlfriend, and domestic violence happens in the NFL a lot. There's a lot of black on black. Like Antonio Brown was kind of wilding out on his BM. I don't know if he hit her like that, but he was throwing dicks at her face, like little plastic gummy dicks at her. And but she's white, or for whatever the situation is. And there's situations, even before OJ, other stuff, that when you do get relationships, unfortunately you do get violence. And there are some situations, like I know there was one of them Proud Boys. He got a black girlfriend, and she be doing some wild, stupid slavery submissive shit. And there are some black-white relationships that are a little creepy. But my thing is, of course he should be condemned for it. But I didn't know who he was before this. You know what I mean? Like Ray Rice, other people, I knew who they were before. Like his only claim to fame is being his girlfriend. I don't know what position is. I'm a football fan. I watched the whole playoffs, every playoff game. I ain't noticing. You know what I'm saying? So how I feel about it, I feel domestic violence is horrible in any situation.
I think that's
fair. Black on white, white on black. Anytime a man hits a woman, anytime it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing to happen. The racial stigma is gonna come into it anytime you add to it. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is just domestic violence is wrong, is bad, needs to be stopped all about. We can't just focus on it when it's a white person, when you might even have someone in your own family who's beating his significant other, but you're mad on social media about Chad Wheeler, who you didn't know about at all until you found out he beat up his girlfriend.
Yo, it's also the way he beat her. Like, he beat her probably within an inch of her life.
This is what I wanted to say. Redemption said he beat the brakes off of her.
Yeah, so. he like when you seen her when you seen pictures of her Instagram versus pictures of her getting her ass beat, it looked like he sat there and stomped her out after she was gone. And the thing that here's the rest of the story that we didn't get to is that he beat her unconscious and then went back to eating lunch. And when she started stirring herself back awake, he was like, "Oh, you're still alive?" and kept eating his damn food. And she had to call out, huh?
So you're telling me this was a white guy? You guys are telling me
this is a white guy who beat the fuck out of this black woman. And here's the reason what got him all turned up. He told her to bow in front of him, and she said no. Then he tried to kill her.
And she was white as well.
She's black. She's black.
That's why. That's the only story out there.
Yeah, and so my stance on it is that's the man she chose. She knew he was a little bit off, and that's the same situation I feel about a lot of the situations in our community. You like that edge to that man, right? When he takes it too far, now it's a problem. But when you instigate him to beat somebody else's ass, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? Like that's why I be trying to tell these younger dudes, don't be out here fighting for these women. Like, the right woman's not going to have you out here in those kind of situations. You know what I mean? That being said, getting back to domestic violence, she chose her man. I think she needs to go to Bob Barker and George W. Bush, or the guy who just who just got away from Jeopardy. Like, she need to go to them and find some resources that she can use to avoid getting her ass whipped like that the next time he asks her to bow down. You know what I mean? Now, that's just how I feel about it. Yo, that's the community you chose. You need to go to your community and find resources to help you. Because I don't know we can help her. Because this is the same, because that means I don't know her personally. But these type of black women a lot of times have the smoke for black men and edify these white men. Then when they get their ass beat or or he leave her a single mother, now she wants to be super black. Nah, bruh. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to take your L's the way you receive them.
wish we had some women on the panel for this to give it a little to make it more well-rounded. But I want to, before Muhammad speaks, and I'll gladly give Muhammad the last word on this because I know he probably has some strong points for this. I'm gonna read some of these comments and give my little feedback. Virginia Slim says they were on that slave play shit. He told her to call him master. And Redemption says fetishized. So that definitely was a fetish of theirs. And Miss Ravioli says she wouldn't bow down. Fuck out of here. But this is the thing, Miss Ravioli, which I wanted to say was this definitely doesn't sound like the first time. So I'm pretty sure she probably has in the past. HB2N says they have been doing slave master role playing. She just forgot the safe word. Exactly. That's my point. I think this can't be the first time they was on some 50 Shades of Slave shit. Okay. All right. So, Muhammad, what's your word? Give you the last.
Yeah. I wanted to respond right quick to what Casey said about the domestic violence situation. We need to stop thinking that domestic violence is exclusive to males being aggressors and females being the victims. Domestic violence goes all across the board. I mean, I can't count how many times that I've been in close proximity of LGBT folk and I've been hearing the domestic violence that they have been dealing with, meaning that you have women beating up on other women, you have men beating up on other men, you have transgenders beating up on other transgenders. That's one. Two, I actually have no feelings about this entire situation, mainly because of the fact that she chose to be with him. It's really what it all boiled down to, and it goes back to what Schoolboy had pointed out, which is you're no longer a member of the community. You've been ostracized, and it also ties into something that Schoolboy has said a couple of months ago, which is the fact that we are not on code. If we were on code, any self-respecting black person, not just a black woman or black man, but a self-respecting black person would not deal with would not engage in interracial dating. And the last thing I also wanted to point out about domestic violence is that as black people, we are handling the situation. It's just not fast enough or to the specifications of other people. And I say that because I've been studying healthy relationships, promoting healthy relationships, and talking about healthy relationships for over 15 years. I've been doing this since I was in high school. I can smell a healthy relationship a mile away, just like I can smell an abusive relationship along the way. And I will tell some sisters and brothers, if you're with somebody that is not respectful of who you are, you need to get away from them. If not, then at the end of the day, I'm gonna just have to say that's what's up.
So with that being said, Miss Ravioli says, can we speak on this with her on a panel tomorrow? Let's actually table this conversation because I don't even all the way agree with my brother Muhammad, right? Saying that when a woman chooses a white guy, then we not, protect them or anything like that.
Black guys with white people too, but black guys with white women too. If you get with them, you're completely ostracized. You stay in that community. Stay in that community.
Who's doing that ostracizing?
But listen.
So many black celebrities with white wives. I don't see them be ostracized. Who's ostracizing them?
No.
We don't have a code, and because of the fact that we don't have a code, of course they're not ostracized. I mean, there's some black people who feel like they could be pro-black and date interracially, and they think just because they financially contribute to the communities, among other things, they think, they still down for the cause. No, you're not.
Like I said, I want you to have your last word, but what I'm saying is we could table this for another show, and I think this is better left for Silence Kills. So when Silence Kills returns, either this week or next week, and or rebuilding the black families, we probably could table this on one of those shows. And Miss Ravioli, you can come on that show as you have in the past. Same with Muhammad, and we can explore that. Like I said, I don't all the way agree with the fact that we should not protect a black woman because she chose a white man, because she could have chose a black dude that would have beat her ass too, right? But I do think, like Redemption, she's laughing at my title. I do think it was some 50 Shades of Slave shit. I really think it wasn't the first time. It was just this time that she decided to say, I'm not in the mood to do that shit right now. Like, I'm not in the mood for you to write slave on my face and cock slap me and make me bow down and all this crazy shit, right? She wasn't in the mood that day. But it sounds like she was in the mood in the past. You know what I'm saying? But
because that money make you do funny stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? This is a dude, a 6-figure nigga. You know what I'm saying? Or for lack of a better term, and he's calling the shots.
Yeah, but she probably, you know, I'm gonna say, if you do that shit, there's something in you that allows you that you enjoy it. You know, you're not gonna just do some shit you don't enjoy. You know what I mean? For the money, you might do some shit that you might have to, you know, it took some incentive, but not that you don't enjoy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so if she was with a black man, that's our problem. One of our community members is whipping up on one of our women in the future of our progeny. All right.
Thank you, schoolboy.
And that white man beats her ass. She needs to go call Bob Barker, goddamn, and figure out the hell's if the price is right. That's what she needs to do.
Thank you, schoolboy. And that is my entire point.
Who dated a white man, and the white man beat her, and then she called you, said, "Go get this nigga." You just be like, "Nah."
If my sister chose a white man and that white man beat her ass, right, and she came back to me, I'm gonna tell her what did his dad say about that? Is that the way he raised him? Huh? I mean, because I already know what it is. In our family, we not really cool with that shit. We're not really cool with this. So you made a decision outside the boundaries of the code. Now you got a new code you have to adhere to. Go to his family and browbeat them. I'm not, again, I just said earlier, I'm not going out here to get my ass whipped for no woman who put herself in that situation when she don't respect my authority from the beginning. That's the issue.
But if it was a black dude, you would jump him.
I cannot protect something I cannot control.
Lovell says, "Baby, she got a new hair hat that day and didn't want about that."
Yeah.
HB2 says, hold on, bro. HB2 says, "White women submit to black men. That's the difference."
No, they don't.
Redemption says, "This is in Miss Ravioli's wheelhouse. I'm here for future commentary." I am too. So, Miss Ravioli, no, I'm not minimizing. I'm saying that this show is past 3 hours. Yeah. Okay. And what we need to do is let Silence Kills come back with a hot topic like this, because Muhammad's going to go in. I'm not going to be able to shut him up after this show. He can't. I'm giving him the last word. That's a fact. But you see it. It's going to be something that needs at least an hour or two to be talked about. All right. But Muhammad, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to point out, like I said, I'm completely against domestic violence. So what happened to her was fucked up beyond recognition, all across the board. However, though, she chose to date interracially, therefore she need to stay within that community and see what she can get to get some form of reparation, restitution, and some form of justice. That's really what it all boiled down to. I'm sorry, sister, I cannot help you. And black men should not help her.
This question is for you. All right. We should have kicked out Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass, etc., because they didn't marry black.
Yes, we should. We honestly speaking, we should definitely ostracize him. And as far as Frederick Douglass is concerned, and I need people to also comprehend this too, he was married to a beautiful black woman for over 20 years before he got with that white broad. And it took me years to learn this, because growing up as a kid, learning about black history, I've always seen Frederick Douglass as an old man with this white bitch, and for some unknown reason, that image just bothered me. I had to get a little bit older and actually study who Frederick Douglass was before I'm like, all right, cool. I can sort of kind of respect this gangster, because he was one of the most, if not the most intelligent men around the time that he was living. I mean, shit, he even advised a few of the presidents, but it still does not change the fact that he tainted his legacy by marrying that white hoe.
All right, with that being said, you know what I mean? With that being said, you did say you kind of respect this gangster. You can't kind of respect this gangster and ostracize the man. You know what I'm saying?
Logic, I'm sorry to cut you off, bro. Let me just say this one thing. People acting like celebrities aren't already ostracized in a way anyway. Most celebrities don't live on the plane with us normal niggas. They don't. They don't live in our communities. They live in other people's communities.
Right. But with that being said, I definitely gotta let it ride there. We gotta let it ride there. You feel me? The thought in Redemption says thoughts, Casey. We're gonna let Casey come back with his Casey. I mean, I don't want to. It's gonna go on.
I don't want to. You know, I'm a product of a black man marrying a white woman. I feel I know this. You know, I feel like we get too caught up in racial issues, and sometimes, and like you're mentioning hit women. That should be. If there was a white woman and she's getting her ass beat by a black man, I would like to think I would help. If there was an Asian woman, you know, I believe in certain levels of humanity. You know what I mean? But again, I do feel as the black community, we are a community. You know what I'm saying? We need to stick together. We need to kind of handle our own. I do feel that things like marriage is, you know, that's how children are married. And if we're having a situation, which I feel is happening, where all the most successful black men get either light skinned or white women, and they kind of leave the community, and then they're breeding, you know, new levels of kind of privileged biracial kids. You know what I'm saying? And then the black community as a whole is not having any more connection to these successful men who's kind of abandoning their communities, not only like with their wives, but culturally too. Now they're going to the parties and everything. So I think all that's why I won't just put it as a racial issue, but I will say culturally that at least successful black men should, you know, date within their community and stay in their community and bring children into the community. So it ain't like once the hood creates something special, it just gotta go.
All right. I attempted to give Mom the last word, but your input was asked. Casey, will you come back on the show to discuss that? And
I'm not an expert on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's someone who feels they might have more knowledge in it, but I feel if I could be a balancing act, for sure.
And Lorvel says, of course, Casey, you're mixed, so you have love for other races. It's not
I
just.
like to think even if I was black or just white, I would still love other races.
Yeah, I would say it's not because he's mixed, right? I mean, of course, that might have something to do with it, but that's your take and Muhammad's take is not all black folk, right? There's a black woman we're talking about right now who probably was good with getting cock slapped and called a slave, right? So there's a spectrum of us, right? But I just don't agree that if somebody dates outside the race, they should be ostracized, or if they do great work, that they should, it should be discredited. You know what I mean? You yourself just said, oh, I could kind of respect this gangster. You know what I mean? So it's either you could kind of respect it or you don't want none of the progress he gave us. And him and his progress should be ostracized.
Just because I respect his shit, that doesn't necessarily mean I have to agree with him or I have to rock with him. Because again, like Frederick Douglass, he's done a lot of amazing things. But there was still a lot of things within his history that was still kind of fucked up.
I hear you, but let me stop you right there, right? That's not what I'm saying. I agree with that. That's my point. You know what I mean? You're not taking that stance. If you're saying we should ostracize them too, you're basically saying ostracize him. And we could do without the progress he gave us, he made for us in the name of black people. If you're going to ostracize him,
I don't think he made any progress for us, but we'll.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But Brooklyn Honcho says he's second that emotion. I'm sure Muhammad would love to come back and tear it up. You know what I mean on that tomorrow. Virginia Sims says, where in that story did you hear cock slap, Jah? Listen. He was definitely cock slapping them, man. He said, bow down. Wow, they was on some 50 Shades of Slave shit, right? So you gotta just go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt. If he asks her to bow down in front of him, at least a cock slap was in there. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it wasn't a whip, but a cock slap with some disrespectful words, nigga, bitch. Your black bitch and all this crazy shit. I'm sure all of that was in there. If he could beat her within inches of her life for not calling him master, you know what I mean? Come on, let's be real. But go ahead.
I just wanted to interject right quick. There was a few comments ago. I can't remember who said it, but the person said something along the lines of that white women helps black men. And I strongly disagree with that because there's a history.
We don't disagree with that, Muhammad. We know. We know. HB2N is trolling you /
I'm sorry because I saw that. I'm like, what? This motherfucker is bugging.
We know HB2N might feel that way, but I think he's also being funny. I don't know. I can't speak for the man. Maybe HB2N will speak for herself on these shows, but
I need to stop being a little too serious. I admit I'm working on that.
But y'all know I like to end the show playing music. You know what I'm saying? And supposedly BET Uncut was supposed to come back this past week, and we would have been here, you know, and we don't know if it did or it didn't. But speaking of the commentary that we're having, I think it's only right that the first song we do play on the outro is Casey's White Girls. We're going out with White Girls. All right. And
Be right back.
this has been the Morning Rant. Salute to my co-host, MC Mighty Casey, Schoolboy, Muhammad X Shakur, Mika J. Woods, Mia, aka Mia F Baby. And y'all know what it is. Yeah, HB2MB trolling. But that's my dude right there. All right, y'all. So, yo, this has been the Morning Rant.
My song.
Girl, Susie, Janet, going through my mind. Sarah Jess and Julie too. White girl, Judy, Beth and Sharon. Help me unwind. The more I see, the more I do. Don't tell Minister Farrakhan. That's right. He don't wanna know what's going on. Cause white girls won't go away. There's one thing I know about, and that's miscegenation. Ticket to ride, white girl highway. Tell all the white girls they can swing my way. What up, baby girl? How you doing? Is you single? Have you ever messed with a light-skinned mandingo? And I could give a damn what all my friends say to me. You and me, baby, can start making up for slavery. Girl, I'm just playing. I got a white mom. You got any black in ya? Would you like some? Or would you like my songs that be playing on the radio? Well, you know this in serious form of flattery's fellatio. I ain't a picky guy, so I really don't care if you a hippie white chick who got underarm hair, or a ghetto white chick who be trying to act black with your name on your chain and your hair slicked back. You could be from anywhere, Maine down to Malibu, from off the trailer park all the way to Park Avenue. See me with a black girl, you got white girl, Susie, Janet, going through my mind. Sarah Jess and Julie too. White girl, Judy, Beth and Sharon. Help me unwind. The more I see, the more I do. Don't tell Minister Farrakhan. That's right. He don't wanna know what's going on. Cause white girls won't go away. There's one thing I know about, and that's miscegenation. Ticket to ride, white girl highway. Tell all the white girls they can swing my way. What up, baby girl? How you doing? Is you single? Have you ever messed with a light-skinned mandingo? And I could give a damn what all my friends say to me. You and me, baby, can start making up for slavery. Girl, I'm just playing. I got a white mom. You got any black in ya? Would you like some? Or would you like my songs that be playing on the radio? Well, you know this in serious form of flattery's fellatio. I ain't a picky guy, so I really don't care if you a hippie white chick who got underarm hair, or a ghetto white chick who be trying to act black with your name on your chain and your hair slicked back. You could be from anywhere, Maine down to Malibu, from off the trailer park all the way to Park Avenue. See me with a black girl, you got the wrong man. Or it might have just been a white girl with a tan. And sisters, don't get mad, cause I'm out banging white chicks, cause we all look the same. When we turn off the light switch, see back in the day, I was getting no play. Then I went the white girl way like OJ. So you can call him Cape, but I'm sorry, OJ, cause I got my white girl and everything is okay. White girl, Susie, Janet, going through my mind. Sarah Jess and Julie too. White girl, Judy, Beth and Sharon. Help me unwind. The more I see, the more I do. Don't tell Minister Farrakhan. That's right. He don't wanna know what's going on. Cause white girls won't go I've had rich ones, poor ones, I even have some famous ones like Tracy Lords Houston and Janet Jameson. Right about now I'm on probation for 3 years, cause I caught a stat case for having sex with Britney Spears. Get ahead in the dressing room, I bust on the chin. Oops, I did it again. Gwyneth Paltrow was always saying I'd be making her laugh. She gave me head, cause if I hit it, I'd break her in half. She ain't even the only white actress on my mattress. I'd even have sex with that fat chick from the practice. And Katie Holmes was always trying to take me home, calling me on the phone saying, Casey, make me moan. Smoking weed on a jet to get on a higher plane. I hate country music, want to bank Shania Twain. Whether short or tall, whether blonde or brunette, I ain't met a white girl who I wouldn't do yet. And I got Alyssa Milano hitting high notes like sopranos when we all up in my bedroom making some mulattoes. I really don't think there's a girl that I miss. I used to like Mariah till I learned she was mixed. For those that's getting furious, please don't take me serious. I'm just wildin' out like Eddie Murphy and Delirious. But if you took offense and you're black or you're white, I'm glad you did sucker cause you way too uptight. White girl, yo, Susie, Jen, and going through my mind. Sarah Jess and Julie too. White girl, Judy, Beth, and Sharon, help me unwind. The more I see, the more I do. Don't tell me it's the Farrakhan. That's right. He don't wanna know what's going on. Cause white girls won't go away. Yo, hey yo, Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Yo, hey yo, Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Zelda was a princess, Sonic was a hedgehog. Martin had a Dreamcast, Jesus had a Genesis. Marcus had a Steamboat, Marley had an Exodus. Malcolm had an Xbox, Call of Duty Black Ops. Hit him with the buckshot, COINTELPRO Black Cops. Damn. Hey yo, back in 92 when the doctor dropped the chronic, I was with my little brother Robin playing Sonic, listening to their music, hoping I'd be cool with them. Rolling in the 64 with GameCube and them. Neo-Nazi, Neo-Geo, Biggie played Nintendo with Lil C's and Nino. Controllers of the system, oppressing we the people. Martin had a Dreamcast, never be a sequel. Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Yo,
Martin had a Dreamcast, Memphis, Tennessee match, Kentucky Fried Chicken at the repass, relapse. Malcolm had an Xbox, Flair had a leg lock, John F. dead by a headshot, Bedrock, Rockabye baby, crack had the 80s, rap had the 90s, 2000s was crazy, we ain't 20 years in. 20 years from now, we'll be 20 years closer to the end. Game over. Game Gears of War, Game Boy, Gang Soldier, Sega Saturn rings, flamethrowers, Mars-colored Range Rovers. Malcolm was a redhead and pimpin', changed his life, now it's Red's Dead Redemption. Martin had the hoes, FBI sent some letters to his home, but it was nothing that Coretta didn't know. Games people play, understand when you play the Game of Thrones, to play to win, you can't play alone. Mankind.
Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox. Martin had a Dreamcast, Malcolm had an Xbox.
Yo. Martin had a sitcom, Malcolm in the middle. William was the Fresh Prince, Jada had a Willow. Jaden had a boyfriend, Drizzy was his hero. Taught these boys how to rob, 50 with De Niro. Believe this shit or not, it's like Ripley's to the airlobes. Nas on belly versus prize for the Pharaoh. Lauryn Hill sister act, eyes on the sparrow. Bone Thugs Grubhub, prizes the marrow. Robin Hood arrow, crackers rob the hood. Try act like it's fair though, acting like some weirdos. Rope a dope, clear though. Frozen quote, okie dope, colas flow hair though. Michael Jackson scarecrow ho. Nobody beats the Wiz with the wear clothes. Last statement on acid, but that was basic. Infatuated with Lara Croft, playing PlayStation, masturbating and nodding off. Carradine, kerosene, Molotov toss to the final boss. I'm gone. It's Mankind signing off. Yeah. Molotov toss to the final boss. I'm gone. Mankind signing off, y'all.
told me I was perfect. Counted the freckles on my nose in the dark chocolate he suckled. I suffered under loving him, but it was so good. I swear it was so good. Swear it was milk and honey and madness. Through lips smacked, I tasted his dreams. And they were like endless pastures and staring off cliffs to freedom land. They were like an eloquent soliloquies. They were like Negro spirituals, beautiful and pained and everything. He said he loves me nappy. Early morning, wild eyes and free, how I was meant to be. Said he smelled the sweat and determination in my throat before I burned it out. Before the grease took my worried brow. What are we now? He wonders since I don't look the same.
Chat. Madam C.J. Walker. Yeah.
Yo.
Chat.
Madam CJ lace you with a perm and you mad cause I ain't say a word. But would it be wrong to say that you were perfect how you were? Let's get it straight here, we going through it and they should be concerned. Let's get it straight here, we going through it and they should be concerned.
Mankind. Nah, where'd your afro go? You were perfect how you were, girl, and that's no joke. There's no need to eliminate your kinks and curls to assimilate your nappy hair and your pretty face. Let's get it straight here, baby. You don't need straight hair to butterfly flutter where my stomach lies. What a time to be alive. It's been a great year. We finally free and they scared. I couldn't wait to play up in your scalp, but it seemed like everything changed since we made it from the south. We used to stay up in the house. You were shy, no patience for the crowds, no hatred. I'm just trying to figure out why you rather comb it down and pick it out. Cause if you did it for me, just know it's something I could live without. But if you did it for you, that's all I need to know. You're all I need to grow. Keep me close, even though
Madam CJ lace you with the perm and you mad cause I ain't say a word. Whoever said long hair don't care is a bald-headed liar. You're bald cause your head was on fire. I see the tracks of your tears and it's tearing me apart. I can't relax, I wear it on my heart. I wear it like my skin. It's wearing on me then, started losing my hair. I'm like, where do I begin? Sometimes I'm full of shit. It's clear that I depend on your support. I saw your hair and thought it was the end. Let's get it straight here. I dread falling out with you. I'd rather lock it down. Natural beauty, you should rock the crown. She said, stop throwing rocks at my throne. The hair that I rock is my own. I brushed it off, touched it soft. Really checked it out, got turned on. About to sweat it out. Mankind.
They asked John, why your fucking skin so light? Cause Pops raped Mom by the shed one night. And my mom's was a slave and my Pops was white. Who thought black pussy was his goddamn right? Everybody say I look just like him. Same eyes, same nose, but I'm bright light skin. How could he disown me, knowing that he owned me? Plus I got a sister too, see I ain't the only. Tragic mulatto, that's a horse and a donkey. That ain't me, I'm a nigga in a honky. I ain't got a lot, but I got a pot to piss in. Plates is for the boogers, pans is for the shitting. When they eating is the only time I'm grinning. And when they hurling, that's the only time I'm winning. Took a pistol from my Pops, gave that shit to my man. Now we got him a gun, and he got him a plan.
Mankind.
Yo. I was working in the field for the boss and I swore I saw a nigga on a horse.
A nigga on a horse?
I swear to Jehovah on the cross, I really seen a nigga on a horse.
A nigga on a horse? Well, this might feel a boss with remorse, but I think I saw a nigga on a horse.
A nigga on a horse?
I wasn't even sipping on the sauce, and I swore I saw a nigga on a horse.
A nigga on a horse.
Check. Yo, about to dive off the deep end. Black jockeys trying to win the Preakness. Yeah, I'm seeing sounds, this is synesthesia. A little reefer, a little pizza. Napoleon complexes, Little Caesars. From the pits of Giza to where the Pisa leans. Lady Gaga, little monsters. Zombies, bleeding, deceased carcasses. Chopped up so it's easy to eat like read 'em and weep. Bet on that like the Belmont. Cell block hell, Mattel props. Van Gogh leaving them shell-shocked black jockeys trying to win Kentucky derbies. That's the charm fucking early. Crack of dawn, orange juice trying to duck the scurvy. Otherworldly. No alarm clock. Yup, I'm up as soon as the sun alerts me like, here comes the sun. Here comes the number one gunners on the block. Mankind, 101, son of none other than the mother son. All the time like the horse. All I think, run and run. That and only if I had another gun. They divide, make it back. They could add, they subtract. Took my life, I'm just trying to take it back. What is love? What the fuck is love?
Mankind. Yo, heard they trying to get a clue, cause the clan can't scout me. I ride like the wind to the end of the county. Somebody told me that they saw my picture with a bounty. I told them that the eagle and the hawk them surround me. By the blood of God, bloodhounds never found me. Now I'm a wolf and my wolf pack rowdy. Howl at the moon, devour and consume. Get a gut feeling when your bowels start to move. What a rush, legion of doom. Doomsday preaching at noon. Prophesied since the seed in the womb. It's a heaven's plate wedding day. Dynamite sticks in the wedding cake. Got a lit fuse about to detonate. Let us pray. In war paint, red in my eyes, determined to live. Live free, ready to die. Mankind. I was working in the field for the boss, and I swore I saw a nigga on a horse.
A nigga on a horse?
I swear that Jehovah on the cross. I really seen a nigga on a horse. A nigga on a horse?
Well, this might feel a boss with remorse, but I think I saw a nigga on a horse.
A nigga on a horse?
I wasn't even sipping on the sauce, and I swore I saw a nigga on a horse.
A nigga on a horse?
Nigga on a horse, nigga on an elephant, nigga winning wars, nigga in a holster, nigga in a Porsche, nigga in a spaceship, nigga with the force, a nigga with a pen beat, a nigga with a sword, a nigga with an attitude, nigga with awards. One thing I ain't is a nigga with a boss, so I smile every time my niggas up in the sauce. Mankind.
Fire, nigga. I'm on fire right now, fuck, nigga. I had the biggest comeback, nigga. Niggas thought it was over with for me, nigga. Y'all tried to count me out, nigga. I ain't forgot about that shit. Y'all niggas think I forgot, nigga. I ain't forgot about none of that shit. So I'm back with a chip on my fucking shoulder, nigga.
Wrote this with my eyes closed, or rose and Moscato. Intuition, inner visions, flow from out the cosmos. Niggas ask me how I made it, I be damned if I know. I just went with my soul, and the rest just follow. She's a good girl, fuck that bitch, I'd rather deal with hoes. Say no to CashApp, I ain't tricking, bitch, you must be psycho. But I'm prone to lie though, just don't tell all my bros. Ice roll gelato in the Bronto, so I got the sky clothes. Damn, it's raining, grab my cane and pass my Prada poncho. The boots was leather with the tattoos, those the Randy Macho. Goggles, Ferragamo, condos big as Costco. I popped the rhino, then she swallowed like it's Mr. Sacco. Mirror, mirror, who's the illest? Please don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the realest? Wait, don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the rarest? Please don't tell me I know. Modern life like Rocco, but I still pray to Shango. Mirror, mirror, who's the illest? Please don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the realest? Wait, don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the rarest? Please don't tell me I know. I devour my goals, and that's word to Gaucho. Rebel, outlaw, reckless, vato, ghetto, desperado. Aim the Draco, eating tacos, take your breath like Tyclone. Adjacent to Van Gogh, I'm chasing my shadow. The pain is the shackle, embrace it for battle. In the gym for 7 weeks, I feel like Boris Kojo. I mean Cujo with a new hoe, sober watching Kuso. With my old hoe, I forgot I fuck my hoes in duos. Football throws in 2 hoes, loopholes out with pool. That piece of coupon for designer, Gucci coat was 2-tone. School old Parasuco, shoot like Tony Kukoc. Pajamas and Jackson, no Delilah, put that on my tombstone. Mirror, mirror, who's the illest? Please don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the realest? Wait, don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the rarest? Please don't tell me I know. I devour my goals, and that's worth the gaucho.